Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Welcome in. It is a Monday. Yes, it is. What happened to the weekend? Where did it go? It was here when we walked out of here on Friday at 5 o'clock, and now we're right back in the thick of it. But you know what? That's all right. Want to know why? Because it's opening day on Thursday, baby. Baseball is here. They are meeting with the media here in the next hour or so down at American Family Field. The locker room's open. Murphy's going to talk a couple days this week as they're getting ready to play their exhibition games and all of that fun stuff before it all gets underway on Thursday. This is awesome. Charlie, how long has it been that I've been itching for baseball to start?
Since baseball ended?
Yes, pretty much. I want to say like November to December. I was like, dude, let's go. Like,
that last World Series game ended, he was like, okay, let's go. Let's start again.
I want to go. And I cannot tell you the last time I've been so excited. And I'm going to be even more excited providing there's a season next year. Because I think next year, you get Made. I think you'll get Fisher. Now they announced, well, I don't know if they announced it officially yet, but there are some reports out there that Made is headed to Double-A to be in Double-A again this year. Now, again, if it's me, there's no chance I'm putting him at Double-A, and there's no chance I'm putting Fisher anywhere than at Triple-A either at this point. And I know, well, Brock Wilkins in front of him, guys, and Cooper Pratt's in front of him, and all that. Okay, fine, but I mean, I think we're just wasting time at this point, getting these guys at bats to see if the guys in front of them can get their way up to the Major League Baseball level. But either way, that spring breakout game, we'll get into that when we talk about the crew coming up at 3 o'clock. That is going to be a lot of fun because a lot of big highlights from that spring breakout game yesterday. Tim Dillard, Brewers TV analyst, will join us coming up at 2:20 every Monday throughout the baseball season. So Tim Dillard at 2:20 every Monday, starting today throughout the season. Looking forward to talking to Tim Dillard. He's been with me for the last, 5-6 years, something like that. We've done this. So looking forward to doing that. We'll talk more about the crew coming up at 3 o'clock. Plus, we'll also do our Charlie Sound today at 3:40. Green and Gold update at 4. And then Todd Milewski from Badger Extra, the Wisconsin State Journal, covers Badgers women's hockey. We're going to talk about the national champions again coming up at 4:20. So we got some complaints last week on the Nicolay Law Talking text line about, why aren't you guys talking more about women's hockey? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. So they won it, and I was like, all right. We're going to do at least a segment on this, at least one segment on this to give it its fair due, because what they've done here in the last few years is beyond exceptional. To know that you have women on that team that not only have won a national championship, but just won gold medals. On top of that, there is a player on that team, on the Badger women's team, that has won 4 national championships at Wisconsin. 4.
It's pretty insane. And
tell me the last Badger football player to win a national championship in the football program. Tell me the last Badger basketball player to win a national championip.
Can't do that.
No.
I mean, you look at what this team is doing, it feels like documentary worthy.
Yes, it is.
They're revolutionizing the game of women's
hockey. With Mark
hockey.
Johnson as the coach.
It's pretty crazy.
From Miracle on Ice, all that stuff. Like, of course, yes, it absolutely should be a 30 for 30 or a full-fledged movie. Like, let's get to it. We know the guys were just a bit outside. Let's put a bug in their ear.
Coming out.
Hey, man, let's go.
We got a lot of great stuff coming out of the Wisconsin area.
Yeah.
Let's make this happen.
There is something with that Uke documentary that I'm hearing rumblings of. And I've actually heard in my own 2 ears, but I don't know if it's real or not. So I'm not going to get into what it is, but sounds like it could be fun. So stay tuned for that. They're going to replay 20 minutes of that documentary after the game is done on opening day. So if you stick around, hang out in your seats on Thursday, once the game is done between the Brewers and White Sox, they're going to play 20 minutes from that documentary. That is going to hit movie theaters, they say, this summer at some point. And then we'll all get to go see it. So if you're in the area, definitely want to check that out. Now, I'd like to talk about the NCAA tournament to start off. And I will tell you, that there's one other segment where we're going to do some NCAA tournament at 3:20. Then in Things Sparky missed, I got a bunch of little March Madness nuggets, I like to call it, coming up at 4:40. But as you may or may not know, those of you that fill out your tournament brackets, haven't been a lot of upsets this year. A lot of favorites winning. A lot of mid-majors not advancing. High Point had their deal against Wisconsin. They were trying to stay with Arkansas to give them a run, and they did for a good part of that game. And now you look at it, and there's pretty much all the guys that were supposed to be left, right? A couple of upsets along the way. But for the most part, everybody that's supposed to be there is sitting here in the Sweet 16. Big Ten is represented more than they've ever been represented here as of late. So they've had a really, really good tournament. And there's been a lot of talk about the Cinderella teams might be dead. May not see as many Cinderella teams as we've seen in the past. Here, the last 2-3 years, Cinderellas just aren't coming up anymore. My question is this. Would it make more sense to shorten the NCAA tournament field versus increasing it? Because right now there's talk they're going to increase this thing again from 68 to somewhere in the 70s. And as Charlie and I talked, eventually everybody's going to get to play in this thing. It's going to take like 2 months, but everybody's going to get to play in it, and it's going to take away the specialness of this whole thing, and they're going to completely ruin it. And I would argue that they've already ruined it, but yeah, either way, would it make more sense instead of going from 68 or whatever the number is at now and going backwards, right? Because you got 64, and then you've got the other. Well, how many games are there? There's another 8 teams, so it's 72 teams right now. So would it make more sense to reduce it? Because if there's not going to be Cinderellas making the runs anymore, and if those days are done, then why do I need to watch all of these random games? I mean, my God, what was it? Friday? It was just all blowouts. It was blowout city on Friday.
Not fun to watch.
It was nothing entertaining. There was not much at all close on Friday. Nothing.
No, and it really is just, again, frustrating because when there are games that have these moments where it feels like it's close, it just gets out of hand so quickly. You see how much deeper some of these teams that have more money are. You see how much just more athletic some of these teams are when the mid-major teams, all they can do is just shoot 3-pointers over and over again when they're not hitting. You see so clearly how much of a deficit some of these mid-major teams are compared to their high major opponents that they're playing against. And it feels like you haven't seen that type of just dissection in so long in college basketball and college sports, frankly. And it feels like in football, you're seeing some of these smaller schools be able to compete a little bit more. But even when you get into the tournament in that side of things, you're seeing those mid-major teams or smaller universities not compete at that same level either. You're still struggling to see how these mid-major teams can benefit from the NIL era right now because they just don't get a chance to at this point.
Correct. Again, it's not affecting viewership, apparently. On Thursday, according to Nielsen, Thursday's record-setting coverage across TBS, CBS, TNT, and True TV averaged 9.8 million viewers, up 6%. Prime time window on Thursday night, which had Michigan and Howard, VCU, North Carolina, averaged 12.5 million viewers, the most watched first-round window in NCAA tournament history. Tournament viewership has best start ever, averaging 9.3 million viewers, up 5%. So clearly, the fact that you're not seeing a lot of these upsets has not affected it yet. Now, you do this another year or two where nobody gets on a run, it's eventually going to start to do it. And Rami Makaloff earlier today on 9 to noon with John Kuhn was talking about the tournament brackets that we have in-house here. And he was saying like he's, what was he? Like 21st out of 23 or 21st out of 26 or something crazy like that, whatever it was. And then I hear Mason Crosby show and Tommy Wirt said he didn't even fill out a bracket for here at all. I filled out a bracket. I filled it out Thursday morning before the games got going. And when I filled out the bracket, I filled it out with mostly favorites. I didn't pick really a whole bunch of upsets. Now, how do I win the bracket? I win the bracket by Iowa State being in the national title game. That's how I'm going to win this bracket. Plain and simple. Because you've got to have something that differentiates you from everybody else. I got Duke as a champion. But if Iowa State gets there, that's probably going to separate me from everybody else, and I'm probably going to end up winning this. And most times, people that have won these brackets in the past are the ones that pick the most upsets and pick the Cinderella run. Those were the ones that normally have won these brackets. And it appears those days are dead. Everybody that was picking upsets right now are probably sitting in the bottom end of their bracket pool. And those that picked a lot of chalk and a lot of favorites are sitting pretty right now going, yeah, we're good. Everything is fine. No worries here. We're enjoying the tournament. Let's get where we are. So the question is, would it make more sense to shorten the NCAA tournament field versus increase it if indeed these Cinderella teams aren't going to be a thing anymore? Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250 on the social, streaming live on X and on YouTube at WI Sports Radio. First up, Ram, north side of Milwaukee. What's going on, Ram? You're on Wisconsin Sports Daily.
What's going on? I was just telling Charlie, go St. John's, man. Go St. John's, go Redmond.
Yeah, they're done. It's been fun.
You think so?
No, they are done. They're all done. It's going to be toodles to St. John's. Bye-bye.
Nah.
Done.
Nah, I don't see it. I don't see a young rookie Duke team beating the physicality. I got to see that.
Okay,
I gotta
you will.
That.
You will. Duke's winning the title. That's what I got in my bracket, Ram. What do you got in your bracket, Ram?
I got St. John's making the Final Four.
Ooh, see, now again, that'll separate Ram in his little bracket pool, right?
I got Michigan State in mind in that part of the bracket.
Okay, you got Michigan State.
Okay, check this out, Sparky. The difference between football and basketball, we talk about the portal, is that you can get one or two players from a conference you ain't never heard of, and they'll come and they can perform and compete. That's what I see the difference is. And these coaches know that these players. So now you got to be able to recruit the portal. Now think about the number of coaches that were talking about, well, I'm not going to, like Shaka Smart was saying, now he really got to go look at that.
Yep.
My thing is this, I say increase it because the basketball, I think, is kind of moving up a little bit more as far as viewership because of AAU and high school basketball. People know about these players in their particular cities, and they follow them. So I think you got another viewership of people. So when they see the tournament, they want to see their guy or see the girl that they know. And those are impact players that can impact games, that you probably never heard of. That don't mean they can't play because they're not a Power 5 school.
Yep.
The kid, now yesterday, the guy that played for St. John's, he left Kansas because Bill Self told him he couldn't guarantee him no minutes. And he murdered him yesterday.
But you have to understand this, that you are not going to be able to keep these guys at these mid-major schools like you were before. I mean, if you go look at Pearl's team from back in the day with Milwaukee, half that team probably would have been gone had there been NIL money and everything else. If Pearl wouldn't have been able to find money at Milwaukee to pay these guys the NIL money. And based on today's rates of NIL money, there's no chance Milwaukee and Green Bay are competing to keep anybody from Kentucky, Duke, or any of these other big schools.
But I say this. What I see
you get 1 year with them. That's all you get.
Okay, but check it out. Calipari left Kentucky because they wouldn't have given up no NIL money. But guess who? Tyson Fool and Jerry Jones are behind the school. So you got corporations here that Northwest Mutual might decide, maybe we might decide to do something like that. We don't know. So if you get one Fortune 500 school behind a program, that can change the dynamics of a lot of things. And the kids may decide, I want to stay home.
Right.
I mean, you got a lot of dynamics to look at this, but I think it's good for college basketball.
All right. Very good. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. 262 using the Nicolay Talking text line corrected me because this is why you don't do stuff on the air. 68. I was right the first time. And then I changed it to 72, but it's 68. 60 are currently in the field. And then you've got the play-in games that get you to 68. So I'm apologizing because I should not have done that on the air. That was stupid. Okay, coming up next, Tim Dillard, Brewers TV analyst. Follow him on X at Dim Tillard. We'll talk about the Brewers season. It gets underway coming up on Thursday, opening day. Brewers and the White Sox. We know they will not be rained out. We know they will not be snowed out. None of that will happen. You want to know why? Because it's got a roof on the stadium. They do not have that at Wrigley in Chicago. So there is no guarantees.
They're fine there.
I was on a call earlier today with somebody from Chicago, and I was told that it's going to be like around 70 potentially on Thursday. However, there's rain in the forecast. And then on Friday, the temperature drops to windy and like 35. So the people in Chicago are like, oh my God, if this thing gets rained out and we end up freezing on Friday, because you give this extra day off after opening day for everybody. Even the teams that have domes, like Milwaukee, they still give the day off to, the day after so you can play a makeup game right away and not screw up the rest of your schedule, which is smart for the teams that don't have a roof on it, which I get. But that's nuts. I know that we will be relatively dry because there's rain in the schedule, I think, for Milwaukee on Thursday. Relatively dry in there, maybe a leak or two. But for the most part, everybody's going to be dry inside that stadium, having a couple of beverages, aren't going to be freezing because it'll be a little bit warmer in there. So it'll probably be around 60, 65, 70 in there, something like that. They're real nice, Charlie. That's why y'all should put a roof on it.
I wonder if the MLB would let them pull an audible if they can, and then that Friday travel to Washington and go and just play the next 2 games in Washington, so they only have to postpone 1 game if freezing rain happens. That would be crazy, but no. You got to try it, right?
They're not going to do that. No,
they'd rather postpone.
Man, I've watched
2 to 3 games.
I've watched the game at County Stadium. I couldn't even see the outfielders. It was snowing so bad, and they played through it. And you're worried about a little freezing rain.
I'm not worried about. They cancel
Buttercup.
Anything. That's not me. I'd be out there. That's fine.
Man.
The MLB wouldn't.
Yeah, well, fine. Tim Dillard, Brewers TV analyst, coming up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Spark it here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. Wendy's has the official Dunks of March Madness, which means you get the iconic chocolate frosty paired with fries. It's the perfect opportunity to dunk crispy, salty fries into a decadent chocolate frosty. It gets even better because when you order from the official Dunks menu, you'll automatically be entered for a chance to win a variety of prizes during March Madness. Order from the official Dunks menu today. Download the Wendy's app for the official Dunks menu for a chance to win big this March Madness. Make sure to take advantage of that. No question about that. And I'm glad that everybody finally has come around to my way of doing things as far as dunking fries into their Frosties.
Like, you didn't create that.
Yes, I did.
I've been doing that, but way before I met you.
Yeah, but I was doing it way before you knew me.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean.
What are you talking about? Wendy's been a sponsor. Has been a sponsor like for 20 years. What are you talking about?
I don't believe.
Way before me, man. Please, I'm taking all credit for that. I don't care if you believe me or not. You know what? This guy here, he's created a lot of things in his life too.
He's a former Brewers pitcher. You can hear him on his podcast, Buses, Benches, and Baseball. It's time to hear from FanDuel Sports Network Brewers analyst, Tim Dillard, as he joins Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Oh, it's that time again. Every Monday, he is going to be joining Wisconsin Sports Daily. I'm so appreciative. He's been my ride or die guy now here for the last few years. Tim Dillard. Follow him on X at DimTillard. Tim, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm currently driving to Milwaukee. I'm in the middle of nowhere in Indiana.
You got to be kidding me. MLB is in charge of this Brewers TV. They can't afford a plane ticket to get you to Milwaukee? See?
Nobody's flying right now. But honestly, I need my car in Milwaukee. So I love this trip, man. I got my stops planned out and everything.
9 hours. I've done that trip. You listen, I guess you're going by yourself, right? You don't have the whole family in the car with you?
I don't think they want to be stuck in a car with me for over 2 hours.
Yeah. That's how I feel about being in the family with my car for over 2 hours. I agree. That's why 9 hours. I've done that with the whole family. That is insane. Okay, Ooh. Mr. Dillard, also equally insane. Jacob Milewski gets called up last year's second half, balls out, comes back from injury, not as good. Lights turn on for the postseason, balls out again. And then because of unforeseen circumstances, I guess, between Woodruff and Priester, now gets to be the opening day pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. You were just out at spring training. What have you seen from Jacob Milewski to this point?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, everything that he's done, he's got experience. And I don't think he was going to be the opening day starter without Woodruff and Priester going down. So, I think it's a wonderful opportunity. I mean, this guy is checking some boxes very quickly in his career. A lot of things that take a lot of guys a lot of time to do. Getting into a starting rotation, getting to the playoffs, all-star game, opening day start. I mean, those are all big deals. But, at every turn, this guy's made adjustments. We've seen him be absolutely untouchable, and we've seen him scuffle. So I think he's, checked a lot of boxes, good and bad and indifferent, to get to this point. So I'm happy for him, and I think AmFam's going to be waiting to see lightning coming out of his fingertips on opening day.
I read a piece last week from Eno Saris of The Athletic, and then there was his bold predictions for the season, and one of which was Milewski for Cy Young. And in that little write-up that he had, Milewski talks about having a double circle change, is what he calls it, with a grin on his face, and how much more vertical drop he has on it and sideways movement on it as well, like 2, 3, 4 inches of both. He threw it against Great Britain, I guess, so no video evidence at that point of that pitch. How does that work as far as guys coming up with new pitches in the offseason? How much of it comes normally from other pitchers? How much of it does come with you just screwing around, trying to find something that works for you? Like Darvish, I think, throws like 11 different pitches or something crazy like that.
Yeah. I haven't heard of this particular changeup. I've heard of double secret probation. I haven't heard the double circle changeup. Some of it is just the more you throw. Like, you go into an off season, you may be like, man, this feels good in my hand. Because a lot of guys know other guys, and they need throwing partners in the off season. You're throwing bullpens together. You're showing off grips. Then you get to the pitching lab and it's like, hey, this is what I've learned. And then you tinker with it and you find that I can make this move. And then you replicate it and you say, okay, when do I use it? Then you start plugging it in against teams. So back in the day, you'd have to throw, 50 pitch bullpens, tinkering with 8 different grips because a pitching coach is like, try this, try this, try this. Now they can just do it faster. They can show that it's not getting the spin they want or the depth or the invert at the top of the zone. So they go, no, let's scrap that. Or the guy's like, it moves a lot, but I don't like the way it feels. So we got to figure out another way to make it happen. So anyway, they're just cutting down on how many pitches it takes to find a good pitch to throw. I love it. I still tinker all the time. This past weekend, I got my youngest out there in his, baseball tournaments, and I'm showing guys how to throw just different types of pitches. Not that, 10-year-olds need to throw 12-6 hammers, but you can throw a little cutter that's not going to do anything to your arm other than maybe the ball will move sometimes. So everybody from kids to adults can tinker with pitches throughout and see what works.
Talking with Tim Dillard. Again, check him out on X at Dim Tillard, Brewers.tv analyst that joining us here also as pre and post game with the Milwaukee Brewers. Let's talk about a couple of these young guys that look like they're going to be in the rotation for the Milwaukee Brewers, one of which is Kyle Harrison. What have you made from what you've seen out of him so far?
Young, healthy. They got control over him for a while. And honestly, they have to get some arms. I think one of the things that we're going to do is we need to go find some guys. We'll run them through the pitching lab, right? Because that's what the Brewers do.
Yep.
But I think they were going around finding as many as possible. You cannot, if you're trying to start a season and you have spring training and you have 6 starters, you're not going to make it. If you have 8, probably nowadays, you're not going to make it. You need about 10 guys. And for whatever reason, Harrison probably fit into that criteria because I talked to Chris Hook last year and I say, okay, you keep finding these guys that have success pitching. And I was like, does this go from you scouring, video and going, is it this guy? Is it this guy? And he said, no. He goes, by now, Matt Arnold and his team know the criteria from what I'm looking for, like what we can work with. And so from then on, everybody that they pick up, I know for a fact that they meet the criteria. Now, he wouldn't reveal maybe exactly what that is, but I think it's guys that know how to pitch to contact. I think with the defense like they have, I think pitching to contact is going to be probably bigger than most people realize, especially in seasons going forward, because with so many injuries and so many pitch counts, because everyone's trying to strike out the world, I think we've come around full circle again, where guys are going to try to get weak contact over everything else.
Well, and it helps to meet contact over everything else when you got a great defense behind you, Tim Dillard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys didn't win the Gold Glove last year as a team. They probably could have, but they've won it before. And, I mean, you look at the roster, everybody's coming back pretty much, right? And then there's been some improvements here and there. I think that's what I like most about the team is they're exciting to watch. And, I mean, they're going to knock the ball down. I want to be a pitcher for a team like that because I would get ground balls and I'd turn around and nobody would be there. Now you're seeing Joey Ortiz catch balls behind second base in the outfield, throwing people out. You're seeing Hamilton come across the infield. You're seeing first picking everything over at first. Andrew Vaughn has even, I think, picked up a step on defense over at first, too. So, of course, Bryce Terang, just an impactful infield. So, yes, you got to have pitchers that fit into what you have right now as a team.
I got another pitcher for you, another young guy that probably is going to make it up here and be on the big league roster. They've already said he is, so I'm assuming he's going to be in the rotation. That's Brandon Sproat, the guy that got in the Freddie Peralta deal for the starting rotation.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people were sad that Freddie left. I mean, I was sad. I like seeing Freddie every day. I know several fans reached out to me over social media talking about how bummed they were, but Matt Arnold, the team, what they're going to do. They're going to go find somebody that is going to fit into a big role. I think this is the guy. I'm not saying, if he can give the amount of starts and stay healthy, I think this guy has a chance to go deep into ball games. I think that's going to play again in baseball because right now they've got a bunch of 5 and dive guys. I think they're looking when Priester's healthy. Harrison, I'm surprised Gasser got sent down. I don't know if something's going to change between now and opening day or whatever, but I think they're compiling arms that can pitch into the 7th inning consistently. I think that's the goal. I don't think they've said that out loud, but looking at the arms and looking at the track records, they want these guys to pitch in the 7th inning. That's the goal. every time out, when before maybe, hey, just go 5 and be done. But that destroys your bullpen at times. So I think they're trying to kind of cut away from that a little bit.
You know, the other part about this, I think, from a Brewers perspective is what to do with Jake Bauers, because this dude has been unconscious throughout the spring. Looks like mini Babe Ruth out there for the Milwaukee Brewers. But as you talk, Andrew Vaughn at first base showed out last year. It looks like he's maybe even better defensively here in the spring. So what do you do with Jake Bauers? Because I would assume you have to figure out a way to get his bat in the lineup until proven otherwise.
Well, good for him. He can play outfield, too. He can play the corners in the outfield. He can play first. Maybe it'll be the chance he gets the DH at times. Who knows? But if there's one thing that we've seen from Pat Murphy is he's able to get guys playing time. Outside of what we saw last year, Andrew Vaughn just went, he was unconsciously good. So that was less time for Rhys Hoskins. But for the most part, he's going to fit guys in and plug them in when he can to make sure they're not just, sitting in the ice box, getting cold. Because these guys can play, they can bang. And we saw when Jake Bauer, when he got back from the IL last year, for his shoulder issue, man, the bat speed was back and he was hitting rockets all over the field. So what I see is him picking up right where he left off. I think he was playing through some injury there for maybe a good month of the season before he probably spoke up and was like, man, I just can't do it. Now we're seeing what a healthy, confident Bauers can be, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, his swing right now is very sweet.
Tim, do you wish there was a grizzled tooth veteran pitcher to help stabilize all these young guys in this rotation right now? Because outside of Woodruff, it is super young.
That's exactly. I mean, I love to have the older guys around. There's so much you can learn. And yeah, Woodruff's sounds like he's going to be there regardless. But yeah, you want a whole bunch of those dudes around to kind of speak in some of that wisdom. But what I saw in spring training, of course, you got Jim Henderson. He can be the guy. You don't always have to be a player. You can be a coach. Of course, Chris Hook, but also Tyler Thornburg, kind of getting overlooked by the Brewers. Like just the buzz around spring training. Gets back with the Brewers in a coaching capacity or front office. I'm not sure his exact title, but seeing him in the dugout every single spring game, that guy was ahead of his time back in the day. I was teammates with him. It was a pleasure. It was an honor to hear him talk about baseball, talk about his sequencing and what he tried to do and know stuff. So there's some voices in that clubhouse, in that dugout, in some of the rovers that are coming through that are going to be able to help the young guys. But yes, I always like having 2 or 3 killers that can really speak some wisdom. And the Brewers, maybe they're looking for that in the future. Who knows?
It's interesting. So you said that about Tyler Thornburg. So I wanted to see exactly what we got here. And it looks like he is AAA pitching coach for the Brewers.
Oh, okay.
For Tyler Thornburg.
Yeah, well,
so he'll be right there in Nashville.
Yeah. Well, you can be working with the guys that are going to be going to the big leagues a ton.
Yep.
Because if you're in AAA, man, and nowadays, especially in the bullpen, you're going to be shooting back and forth nonstop. We've seen it, 6-8 years for the Brewers.
Talking with Tim Dillard, Brewers TV analyst. Follow him on X at Dim Tillard. I've got one more for you. We know what Trevor McGill is, obviously. What are the next steps that you want to see from Abner Uribe to take this year from what you've seen the last couple of years? Because he definitely took a step forward last year.
I think if he does exactly what he does last year, he'll be just fine. And the Brewers will be just fine. His slider became a powerful weapon because when his fastball was getting hit, he was able to locate the slider. That was a game changer because a lot of times it's like, hey, I'm going to throw really hard. That's my best pitch. And hopefully I can try and get you out with the slider and hopefully I can throw a strike. But last year, he was very confident. He could repeat his mechanics and he was throwing both of them in the zone. And if he's doing that, you have very little chance. So, I mean, I don't know. Can he take another step forward? I'm not saying he's peaked, but when you're throwing 102 and you're getting strikeouts and you're throwing a wicked slider at 90, whatever, 92, 93,
right.
That's enough. That's enough. I think in this game as players, you're always trying to go, okay, what can I improve on? What can I improve on? But there's a certain level where your game is there. And now it's about maintaining it. It's not looking for something else. It's maintaining what you do. That can mean the weight room. That could be, doing some sprints, whatever it looks for you, more stretching. It could be manuals. You do shoulder exercises in the clubhouse after games when you do that. It's about maintaining with your routine the best you can, which is really hard to do in the bullpen.
There he is, Tim Dillard, Brewers TV analyst. Follow him on X at Dim Tillard. I do not have a channel to direct you to as of yet because MLB has apparently not secured deals with all of these TV carriers yet. But the Brewers said today that we should have some news as far as what channels the games will be on opening day. So stay tuned for that. But for opening day, it's on all the local over-the-air TV stations that we talked about last week around the state. So in the Milwaukee area, it'll be on Fox 6. Tim, thank you so much for coming on, my friend. Safe travels driving up here to Milwaukee.
Yeah, appreciate it. Come see me at the exhibition games on opening day. Go Brewers.
Go Brewers, go. There he is, Tim Dillard, Brewers TV analyst on X at Dim Tillard. Again, our thanks to him for coming on and being a part of it. Hey, Potawatomi, baby. Home opener tailgate party at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel inside the Annex, which is right next to the Sportsbook. Best tailgate party of the year. A party with the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network from 9 to 1 for the baseball game. Potto's a place to be with free parking, free Surfside drinks while supplies last, food for purchase, games and fun, and shuttles to the game starting at 11 a.m., running every 15 minutes. Come hang out again coming up this Thursday from 9 to 1. So you'll have 9 to noon there with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. Then from 11 to 1 will be Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz with a leadoff show, getting you ready for the game. And then from 4 until 6 will be the Potawatomi Sportsbook baseball post-game show with Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz, again, right there from the Annex at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel. So looking forward to it. No easier way to party and attend the game at the same time. If you don't have tickets to the game, you're not going to the game, come hang out, watch the game at the Annex with these guys, and have a good time. All right, coming up next, Charlie Hughes and I saw some things from the MLB account that piqued our interest around teams and opening day and new things coming to all these different teams. What is it? We'll tell you next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. C. Sparky Fiber with you. Charlie Usen producing today's show. It's going to be a busy guy on opening day. Busy guy on opening day.
I'm excited for it.
It's going to be here all day long producing shows. We talked about how we're going to be out at the Potawatomi Sportsbook at the Annex right next to it from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then from 4 to 6 with the post-game show. So a bunch of our crew's going to be there. I'm going to be off by myself over at Kelly's Bleachers on Blue Mound on opening day from 11 to 1. Going to be in the DJ booth with a microphone and handing stuff out and having a good time and talking to everybody. So if you are going to the game and if you're not going to go to Pato, you're trying to figure out where you want to go have a beverage or a cocktail or whatever the case may be, I'll be at Kelly's Bleachers from 11 to 1 in the DJ booth. Love to see you, talk to you, whole deal out there for a couple hours. Love to see you on opening day. Okay, so Charlie, you brought up something in the pre-show meeting, and I'd seen one or two of them. I haven't necessarily seen all of them. You came across something that the MLB app has been doing for the last several days that you found very entertaining.
Yeah, so just all over Twitter, it's just been like different beat writers, and the MLB has been keeping track of it too. I have this one main article right here from ABC that's been keeping a big track of it. But MLB ballpark food is something that I love to keep track of before the season starts. A lot of these stadiums are coming up with crazy different new ideas. It's all from local places usually, so it's a really cool way to kind of show off the city and the type of food and culture that's there. Just the Milwaukee Brewers, so this is from Brewer Fanatic. They were putting out the Brewers event where they were showcasing all their different meals for all the influencers in the city, for the news stations, stuff like that. They have a brisket mac and cheese waffle. So it's barbecue brisket on top of a waffle that looks like it's made out of like cornbread and mac and cheese together on it.
I was at a restaurant over the weekend. That's a whole nother story of how we ended up at a restaurant. We literally went to two restaurants in two different cities, 40 minutes apart. And in both instances, there was nowhere to park and there was no way we were going to eat there. And we ended up going to restaurant number 3. But at restaurant number 3, which we all love, and my kid was super, super excited that we went there because we'd been there for his birthday. I had a, what do you want to call it? Smash burger, but it was in between 2 grilled cheese sandwiches.
Have you ever?
So good.
I had one of those. It was a smash burger in between 2 deep fried, like the Uncrustables, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Never been an Uncrustable guy.
Dude, I had a couple of them before I came into work today.
Did you? So you've been into those things for a while.
I love Uncrustables, man.
Never had them in our house. None of our kids have had them in our house.
Do a grilled PB&J night one night. Your kids will love it. It's awesome. It's the best.
Uncrustables.
Well, it doesn't even have to be Uncrustables. Just do instead of grilled cheese, grilled PB&J.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll give it a try. I've never had one of those either, but I'll give it a try. All right. What else you got?
Next up from the Brewers, they have fried Kringle on a stick, which kind of sounds interesting.
I love Kringle.
And it's honestly, it's got powdered sugar on top of it. So those are some of the ones, a lot of barbecue stuff from the Milwaukee Brewers this year. That's kind of the big theme that they're trying to push out there. They have some shakes and smoothies, a lot of stuff from the 3rd Street Market Hall because they have that 3rd Street complex up
Brilliant
there.
idea.
Really cool. A lot of good stuff from them. If we go through the rest of the league, so the New York Mets have a bulgogi cheesesteak spring roll. I don't think you could ever guess what was in that. Marinated beef, kimchi, sharp cheddar cheese, pickled jalapenos, and it's served with a creamy, spicy gochujang sriracha mayo. That sounds crazy.
I have no idea what half of that tastes. No, I have no idea what half. Cheddar cheese, I knew. The rest of it, I'm lost. But go ahead.
One of the other cool things that I really like seeing was from the Mariners and the Texas Rangers. So both of them are doing cool food bucket type of things. The Mariners, you can upgrade a bunch of their baskets this year to a ferry boat, which is like
a what?
It's a ferry boat, exactly what you think it is. Like
what is going on in baseball?
It's got to be at least like 2 feet long. It's made of plastic, but you can put like your chicken tender baskets. I think you can do a fish fry basket. And then lobster nachos you can do in it as well.
So you get like twice as much food in it?
I think so, or it's the same amount of food just in like the specialty ferry bucket. It's like the helmets, but a bucket. And the Rangers are doing cowboy hats.
That makes sense.
Instead of that.
But I don't understand the ferry bucket, ferry boat, whatever it is.
I feel like that's something that's like important to Seattle. They're the Mariners, it kind of works, right?
Okay.
As we keep going down here, the Los Angeles Dodgers have a house braised, I'm going to butcher this, Cochinita Pibil Bone Marrow Taco,
What?
which is going to cost $27.
Wait, rewind. What did you say about bone marrow?
Cochinito Pibil Bone Marrow Taco. It's topped with pickled onions, fresh cilantro, and warm blue corn tortillas.
Bone marrow.
Yeah.
That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
No.
That's like fancy. I feel like the fancy people like that. One that I was excited about, the Miami Marlins have a 2-foot long brisket quesadilla.
A lot of brisket stuff.
So I think that's kind of the popular thing. You know, it was hot honey last year. That was the big thing that everybody wanted to do.
Right.
I think this year they're going with the brisket. I don't know why. I'm a fan of it. I love brisket. The Cubs are doing chicken and churro. So like chicken and waffles, but the chicken is like baked in the churro batter.
Right.
And then they have the powdered sugar on top, the special like compound butter that's on that. That looks really exciting. And the last one that I want to talk about was the Arizona Diamondbacks. They have, what is it called here? It's insane. The Take Me Out to the Ball Game shake is made with everything fans know and love from their first ballpark visit in milkshake form. A salted caramel shake, whipped cream, peanut butter sandwich cookies, like Nutter Butters on
Love
it.
them.
Kit Kat bars and Cracker Jacks, and the like outside of the cup is rimmed in hot fudge and like crushed candies.
How much? $40?
Probably. It looks like it's a heart attack in a cup. It's awesome.
That sounds delicious.
Eat 3 of them. Yeah.
I'm Nikolai Law talking to text line 414. Grilled cheese with peanut butter. Yum.
Well, you don't have the cheese in it. I mean, unless he's saying that's what you should
grilled
do.
cheese
I'll
with
try
peanut butter.
Have you ever had peanut butter on a burger? Peanut butter on a smashed burger?
Yeah, I've done that.
Awesome.
Yeah. 715, what channel will the Brewers be on in the Wausau area? Let me call it up here. In Wausau, it will be channel WSAW, WZAW, and WYOW in the Wausau Rhinelander area. That's opening day on Thursday. In Green Bay, it'll be on WGBA TV, WACY TV in Green Bay. Duluth Superior, listening on the game, it's going to be on KDLH TV and KBJR TV. And then in Milwaukee, it will be on Fox 6 coming up on Thursday. So make sure to check that out. Also make sure to check out Habish, and Rotier, baby. National reputation, hometown service. 13 locations around this beautiful state of Wisconsin. They're in your backyard if you're listening in Wausau. They're in your backyard if you're listening to WNFL in Green Bay or in Appleton. They're in Madison. They're all over Rhinelander, all over the state of Wisconsin. Why is that? Because they're damn good. They're really, really good. They got a bunch of records as far as most money won and so forth in the state of Wisconsin. See, that's how you build the national reputation. The hometown service part, that's what you and I care about, right? That they take care of us well here in the state doing our thing. That we're important to them, that we're not just another number like we are probably to a bunch of other law firms. We are their most important. That's how they make you feel, and that's how you want to be treated. That they're going to put their all into helping you get what you deserve. Telling you, I've been in a serious car accident. I've been scared. I've been there. I've done it. Side swept by one semi, T-boned by another one. I was on the passenger side, but either way, 75 miles an hour, stuck to the front of a semi, going down the interstate in the fast lane with my Chrysler 200 stuck to the front grille of the semi. It's scary. You need to know people that you can trust when you make that decision. Go to Habish, Rotier. Habish, and Rotier, national reputation. Hometown service. Go to Habish.com for more details. Coming up next, we'll talk about the crew. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is time again as we broadcast live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky hanging out with you. I don't know what it is. I'm sure this is the same thing for everybody, so I'm sure I'm stating the obvious, but aren't you just always in a better mood when the sun's out?
I think so.
I don't know. Maybe it's just coming off of winter. But I'm telling you, looking outside and seeing the sun out, I'm so much happier than I am looking outside and seeing rain, snow, or just gloomy overcast.
Well, and like you talked about, baseball's coming up Saturday. We got a little taste of baseball weather. That was nice. That made you feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just baseball coming up. I think that's the energy, more so than the sun being out. It's that you got the Brewers on Thursday.
Yes. Cannot wait. Get us to Thursday. You got exhibition games here as well at American Family Field next couple of days. So that's fun too. But come on, let's go. I'm so excited. And again, I didn't even look at my phone to see. Tommy came in here during the break talking about the rotation for the Milwaukee Brewers. And we pretty much knew what it was when we had Tim Dillard on as far as Sproat being in the rotation. But this is how it's going to line up for the Brewers. It's going to be Milewski, Chad Patrick, and Brandon Sproat against the White Sox. And then against the Rays, again, Brewers still at home, it's going to be Harrison, Woodruff, Milewski. So they're going to let Woodruff be in that 5 hole to maybe give him one more chance to throw here, I would assume, before he actually has to pitch. So again, Milewski, Patrick Sproat, Harrison, Woodruff, and then back to Milewski for the third game of that Rays series. I guess I'm a little bit surprised that Sproat is between Patrick and Harrison. But I'm sure there's good reason for it.
I mean, him and Harrison kind of, in my mind, are at that same type of level. I know that Harrison has a little bit more MLB experience, and that's why you might put him ahead of Sproat. At the same time, it hasn't been the most successful experience overall. It kind of feels like Quinn Priester, where, yes, Priester last season was coming in with that couple of years ahead of him, but it felt like almost a rookie year for Quinn Priester because he was changing so many things, doing so many things that were different than before. Kyle Harrison feels in that same kind of boat. So in my mind, him and Sproat are on that same level.
We are talking about the crew right now. I know I didn't play the open, but we do it every day at 3:00 as we talk about the crew. The other part about this too, that I'm intrigued by is the innings pitched by both of these guys is quite a bit different, right? So for Kyle Harrison, he was in the Giants organization. So you have an idea that he can kind of go a little bit longer. So if you go back to 2024, let's say, when he was 22, he threw 124 in the third innings in 24. Then in 25, he was between San Francisco and Boston. Didn't throw as many innings there, only 35 innings, but he has thrown 124 in a season. So that makes you feel a little bit better there. If you look at Baseball Reference, their projections for Kyle Harrison is a 4.18 ERA, 4-4 record they're projecting, and innings pitched of 84. There's no way he's only pitching 84 innings unless he gets hurt or completely sucks. I don't see how Harrison only pitches 84 innings.
No, and they're just basing that off of his 2 seasons in MLB,
right,
one being a lot of innings, one being a little innings, so they just put it straight in the middle. That projection is always a little wonky when you're talking about guys like that. I guess I'm just curious to see how, with him, Sproat, and Milewski all in this rotation, if all of those guys potentially have to be on some kind of pitch limit, do they adjust that for one of these guys? Maybe Milewski, because he's that opening day guy, he's going to be lead of the rotation. Does he get more innings than we expect throughout the season because he has to be that lead horse?
You know, the other part about this too is Brandon Sproat is another guy that they just got called up last year. So he doesn't really have all that many innings in general. But last year, he threw 121 innings in AAA, 20 in the big leagues. So he's got 141 innings he's coming off of. So if you look at Sproat's numbers as far as what they're projecting him, they don't even have a projection for Brandon Sproat. They just give you his spring training numbers. They don't even have a projection as far as what his regular season numbers for the Brewers will be. But again, he's a righty too. So you're talking about going, Patrick's a righty and Sproat is a righty, and then Harrison is your lefty, and then Woodruff and back to Milewski again.
I like it. I guess, again, in my mind, they have so much talent left-handed wise that I thought maybe you could have two guys in the rotation that are lefties. Your bullpen feels like it's going to be very lefty loaded too.
Very, very much
which
so
is,
is,
again,
yes.
a strange approach, but it's the Brewers and Chris Hook. I trust it, man.
Yes, correct. And that's all you have to remember at the end of the day is it's the Brewers and Chris Hook. And whatever they say goes for that one. So that is your rotation as it sits right now for the Milwaukee Brewers going into the first weekend. That obviously is a beautiful thing. The other thing that has been fun in all of this has been Tommy Wirtz's guy, who you're here on the leadoff show and the Potawatomi Sportsbook baseball postgame show all year long. His guy, Jake Bauers, has been absolutely tearing up Major League Baseball in spring training to the point where everybody's just like, oh my goodness, like what happened? What has changed with Jake Bauers? And if you think I'm crazy on this, trust me, I'm not. I actually saved this piece on X, I believe it was, talking about Jake Bauers. Again, it's one thing to be really, really good in spring training because a lot of times these pitchers are working on stuff, right? Maybe a pitcher's not throwing a lot of breaking balls, just working on spotting his fastballs or whatever when he's out there doing something in spring training. Or maybe somebody else is just working on breaking pitches, not throwing a ton of fastballs in a start. So it's really hard to kind of determine who's doing what in spring training, not knowing on what everybody is working on. But the one thing that we do know is that when you hit everything that you see and show the power that Jake Bauers has shown to this point, that's the one thing that I think is pretty remarkable, that no matter who he faces, Charlie, he is hit.
Well, and we've had this discussion throughout the entire offseason into spring training about how much time will Jake Bauers take out of Andrew Vaughn's run at first base this year, and will that change what Andrew Vaughn does? I don't. At this rate, it feels hard to keep Jake Bauers off the field, at least to start the season.
In spring, 471 batting average, 581 on base percentage, a slugging percentage of 1.147. His OPS is 1.728. He has 43 plate appearances, 34 at-bats, 6 home runs, 8 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, 7 walks, and 7 strikeouts.
Well, and everybody talks about Lockridge, and that's why Blake Perkins was sent. This is the reason Blake Perkins is starting the season in the minor leagues. It's because you have to find a way to get Jake Bauers on the field. And if you're not going to split as much time with him and Andrew Vaughn at first base, because Andrew Vaughn had a pretty good spring training too,
right,
not to the same level as Jake Bauers, but still a very solid beginning to the season that gives you some confidence that he can continue what he did last season. With Jake Bauers, you can get him in the outfield a little bit now. You can rotate him into that group, especially if Christian Yelich, once again, is not going to touch the outfield, which I think is the right decision. I said that last year, the Brewers did it last year, where they just kept him at DH all year long. I think it kept him healthy for as long as possible. You need to do that again. Jake Bauers can take some of that run out there, especially if he can continue hitting like this. Now, does it always translate from spring training to the regular season? No. So we have to wait and see if this is a type of aggressive approach change for Jake Bauers that is going to result in a new beginning in the MLB almost.
Jake Bauers talked over the weekend.
How do you kind of rate your spring as it's winding down here?
Yeah, I mean, I feel good about it. I think the thing that I feel the best about is the consistency of it. I've really just been trying to focus on a day-to-day approach and been successful with that. So just hoping to carry that mindset into the regular season.
All these spring trainings, we all try to figure out what makes a good spring for a player. When you go in and you think, I'd like to accomplish this, and this, what are those kinds of things? Because it's not the results, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, obviously, getting results is never going to tell you it's a bad thing. But I think for me this spring, I didn't want to think about mechanics at all. That was my goal. And that's kind of unlocked a little bit of my mind, I think. So I'm able to focus on actually playing baseball a little bit more. So, and that goes along with the whole day-to-day approach too. So just trying to put all that together and carry it out throughout a regular season is going to be a challenge for sure. But I think I have a good base.
Is that hard to do? Like, you guys talk hitting so much and so much time in the cage.
Yeah. It's definitely different for me because I mean the past, I don't know, 6-7 seasons, it's been kind of the main focus of all my work has been mechanics. And then I feel like they got to a spot where there was nothing left to do. There was nothing left to focus on. So it was really how much can I get out of my own way, and what does that look like? And so that's what I was focusing on this spring. And like I said, I think we got to a good spot.
Opposite field results have been coming for you this spring too. Is that a conscious effort, or is that just reacting pitches?
I'm trying to stay inside the ball. Trying to hit the inside of the ball. With that, I think naturally comes a little bit more opposite field balls in play. I don't care where they go as long as I'm accurate, short, and inside of it.
It's funny when you start talking about what's changing your approach, and Jake Bauer's response is, I just want to hit this side part of the ball. And then talks about maybe hitting it opposite field a little bit more. But a lot of times when you start talking about guys when they're coming up, what's the goal? Hit everything up the middle. That's kind of the goal. Hit as many balls up the middle as possible. That is the goal every single time. And then wherever the ball goes, the ball goes. And then sometimes you'll get into the whole, we want more launch angle, so we're going to adjust this and we're going to adjust that. But a lot of times, if you just simplify things like that in the game of baseball, you will see results if you just consistently work on something like that. And it seems like, nothing involving hitting a baseball is easy when it's going 95 miles an hour. So let me not say it's easy. But when you simplify it down to that magnitude, like he is saying, I think it probably makes it easier to focus on versus trying to think of 5 different things at the plate.
Definitely. A lot of guys, and Stephen Kwan has talked about this of the Cleveland Guardians, the way he changed his swing approach, that focused too much on almost trying to see where a pitch is going to land and trying to watch the ball strike versus just trying to make contact. And when he stopped being so hesitant, looking at the strike zone and trying to take pitches that were close to the zone and just swinging more freely and just hoping to make contact with every single pitch, you saw his power numbers increase. Yes, his contact may have decreased because he was swinging more often, but he was making stronger contact and turning singles into doubles more often and extra base hits. And I think you could say the same thing about Bryce Terang last season too, in the way that he adjusted his approach at the plate. It really felt like he wasn't as focused on, seeing where the ball is going to be. And that's from the Milwaukee Brewers. I think Pat Murphy and this hitting staff has gotten these guys so comfortable in just taking the right swings and knowing that where a ball is and where a strike is and not having to focus on that as much and taking that out of the game. It really changes the approach for these batters and helps them grow with the talent that they already have.
Correct. And it is, again, I don't know what he's going to do this year. I have no idea. But if Andrew Vaughn is hitting the ball well and Jake Bauers is hitting the ball well, that means Bauers is going to be in the outfield because they decided not to let him play third base. So that means he's in the outfield, which now means that Churio was playing every day. So that's out. So those are your 2 corner outfielders, which then means Sal Frelick's in center field and Gary Mitchell is on the bench more than likely at the end of the day, or those 2 guys are rotating because Yelich is your DH. You have nowhere else to put the other 2 guys if Bauers hits so well where he's got to play every day.
Well, or Jackson Churio plays center field like he was doing in the World Baseball Classic, and then Sal Frelick's in right field more often than Garrett Mitchell. And Garrett Mitchell's the guy rotating off the bench.
Yes.
Which I think I like a little bit better. I need to see more from Garrett Mitchell. And if that means starting in that rotational outfielder role versus being given that opening day center fielder role, if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. And Sal Frelick proved last season that he can be a solid or more than solid everyday starter. Keep him out there, keep him in that role, move Jackson Churio to center field.
If he hits, you've got to hit ground balls to him at third base. Like, you've just got to start thinking about it. Even if it's, all right, dude, we're going to put you in here in a late game situation. If I need to get your bat in there, I need to know you're capable of handling yourself. Oh, you don't have to be Gold Glove. Just don't suck at third base. You get a routine ground ball, make the play. That's all I'm asking, right? You have to consider it if he continues to hit like this. Now, history says he won't, that he'll come back to being Jake Bauers again. But for the time being to start the season, you ride the wave. And if he's hot, he's got to play, whether it's in place of Vaughn or whether it's in place of somebody else. He has to play.
Well, and if he continues to be this hot, I think this Brewers team also has to, maybe not directly on him, but start listening to calls because you have so much talent on this team. Start thinking about doing things that are aggressive that can get you to compete later on in the season too, or start preparing for the trade deadline as early as the first month of the season. If you have this much talent on your team and people are going to call about Garrett Mitchell, you have to think about it. If people are going to call about Sal Frelick, you have to think about it. These are the types of things that you have this luxury of, especially with how deep your minor leagues are. I mean, this Brewers team is in a really good spot, especially if Jake Bauers just comes out of nowhere like this.
You miss one player. If people call about Jake Bauers, you have to listen. I'm sorry.
I didn't want to do that to Tommy.
Sorry. If Tommy Wirtz is listening, I trade him. He'd be gone. If Jake Bauers has a hot April and somebody wants to give me something realistic for it, like if somebody wants to give me a sweet swinging AA or single A outfielder that looks good and I think might be a stud, see you, Jake Bauers. I'll take the single A outfielder for him, and I'll go back to playing Mitchell, Churio, and Frelick in the outfield. And you got Lockridge. He's been unbelievable in spring training to the point where you sent down Blake Perkins. Mm-hmm. Like, this is something here where if as an organization you're like, this is cool, but I'm not sure this is Jake long-term. But if some GM thinks it is, hey, it's been fun.
Why not? Especially if your starting rotation continues to have injury concerns.
If that happens,
if you have problems like
get
that,
a veteran pitcher,
you have this available right here to you. That is such a luxury.
Yeah.
It's a really good spot to be.
Another luxury is this Brewers farm system, top rated in Major League Baseball. They've been doing these spring breakout games over the last, week, 2 weeks, whatever it's been, down in Arizona. And the Brewers have played a couple of different teams. And I was talking with Mitch Thunder Nellis, who was off today, and they're coming back today from Arizona. They were there for the weekend. And he was like, man, went to the Brewer game yesterday. They got shut out. Nobody played a spring training game, right? Because everybody was coming up here. I was like, dude, why don't you go to the spring breakout game? He's like, because I got these tickets months ago, and I wasn't going to burn them because we had no idea about the spring breakout game, because the spring breakout game is where you wanted to be yesterday at the end of the day. Now, why would you want to be there? Well, first of all, this dude was playing.
There's obvious deception, but he still throws strikes. Fastball slider combination, very tough. And there's Madej scooping one into left center. Jesus Madej all over the first pitch. The spring breakout run continues. It's a leadoff double on the first pitch of the day.
Again, Jesus Madej is that guy at the end of the day. Now, that one by Jesus Madej had an exit velocity of 112.7 miles per hour. The Brewers had 3 batted balls last season with a higher exit velocity than that dude with the first pitch of the game.
I mean, it's just a lot of young guys that are swinging so freely. It's that type of mentality that I was talking about before, that they're trying to get MLB players to start adapting. And these younger players are just coming into the game with that type of mentality to swing that freely and just to be able to know that I know where the strike zone is. I'm going to swing if it's even close, and I know I can make contact, and that's what I'm going to focus on. When you can make that type of contact, I mean, that barrel rate is so important in today's game.
And then there's this guy.
Full windup, here it comes. And it's ripped into right field. Andrew Fisher delivers the lead for the Brewers. His strong spring continues with a 2-out go-ahead double.
That was an exit velocity of 111.3 miles an hour off of the bat. And I had quote tweeted, I think it was that one, or maybe it was one from Saturday, because he's just been unbelievable every day. There's something from Fisher of like, yeah, I know this is crazy, but this year? Question mark. And it just blew up. It just, everybody and their mama had something to say one way or the other. And I said, I know this is crazy. So I prefaced it by saying, not going to probably happen. But this dude hits, man. I mean, come on. No matter who you throw in front of him, you're going to stick this guy in AA and expect they're not going to do something with him, or AAA? Just put him up at third base and let him go.
Just do it. You have nothing to, I really don't think you have anything to lose out of it, because if he comes up to the major leagues and just isn't great, well, you got Brock Wilkins sitting down there waiting to come up too.
You've got Jet Williams.
You got Jet Williams sitting down there. If you want to keep Luis Pena, he could potentially be a third base option if you want to stretch him out there. Like, you have other options.
He had a home run over the weekend,
so
too.
Might as well just try it. Might as well just bring him up and put him in that spot. I've been saying that this whole offseason too, because I've really loved what Andrew Fisher has been able to do. And if Rengifo is at the major league level, is just not cutting it, and you're thinking about giving Jake Bauers potential shots at third base, like you were talking about before, might as well just bring up Andrew Fisher, give him shots at third base.
And I know Murphy loves David Hamilton, and that's who he wants to be the guy, but I'm not there yet.
Just don't trust it.
Maybe one day I'll get there during the season. How about this dude? We never talk about this dude because he had a down year last year, but he's a big dude.
Oh, boy, this one's cracked. Deep right center. Watch this one sail away to the top of the berm. A no-doubter for Eric Batanti. And he blasts off to make it a 2-run game.
Batanti? I told you Medeiros was 112, right?
Mm-hmm.
That one by Batanti, 115.4 off of that dude's bat. That the Brewers have hit just one homer harder during the regular season in the StatCast era, and that was Avisel Garcia in 2021.
Well, this is the reason the Brewers...
This is the minor league systems. He had a down year last year. Nobody's even talking about Batanti.
This is the reason the Brewers aren't spending money on Eugenio Suarez or any of these guys are making these trades, because they know they have these types of players in the minor leagues. But at the same time, when they aren't cutting it in the second round of the playoffs, after you finally get past that first round hurdle, and it's the Chicago Cubs, and you need somebody to give you some kind of life in form of a home run just in one of these games against the Dodgers, and you can't get that consistently from this team, it's so frustrating just hearing over and over again that these guys are waiting, these guys are there, they're coming up. But you need it now, too. So, yes, it's exciting to hear that type of stuff and know that it's there and that the Brewers have it in their system. But I want to see that at the major league level finally.
I cannot wait for these dudes to get here. I cannot wait. Also, news from the day as we're talking about the Crew League we do every day at 3 o'clock here in Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. The Brewers are now offering a monthly subscription for Brewers TV, $19.99 per month, and you get access to regular season Brewers baseball without blackouts. To subscribe, just go to Brewers.TV. So it's $19.99 a month or $100 for the season, or as they put it, $99.99 for the season.
I mean, just do the full season.
Just do
You're
it.
going to pay $20 a month. You're paying double what it is just to buy the whole season. Might as well just go with the whole season.
I think you just pay for the whole season as well. I think I'm on that one too. So that also is a good thing. And opening day, on opening day, you'll see Jordan Love there with the opening pitch. And now they've added Jordan Stoltz, the Olympian who won 2 gold medals, the speed skater, Wisconsin native. Jordan Stoltz will be on hand for opening day too. So Jordan Love and Jordan Stoltz hanging out on opening day coming up on Thursday.
Very cool. I always like to see like local people or within the state instead of just a random celebrity, which sometimes these teams will do. So that's nice to see that the Brewers are doing that.
I want an opening. I want any game this season to be Crosby and Kuhn throwing it up.
I bet you could make that happen.
But I want it to be different.
Okay. How do you want it to be
I want to
different?
have radar guns behind both catchers to see which of
Make it
those
a
two could throw
competition.
it harder.
Well, why don't you just go out there? and do
Because
it with
I'm
them?
not as strong as either one of those two. I
bet if we told Thunder to go out there and throw with him, he would say yes, 100%.
Yes.
He
There's
doesn't care if
people
you get
looking at
embarrassed.
Thunder. Doesn't matter what it is. People are looking at me. I'm in. Yes, Mitch Leonard-Ellis would definitely be in. No question about that. Okay, coming up next, change gears again. Back to college basketball. Former college basketball coach and analyst for a long time now, Seth Greenberg, made an assessment of college basketball and the amount of money that needs to be spent NIL-wise in order to win and compete for a championship. That got Charlie to thinking about, can the Badgers ever really compete at a high level in basketball and football at the same time ever again? We'll discuss straight ahead on Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Wendy's really outdid themselves this time with these new biggie deals. At $4, $6, and $8, the new biggie deals are bigger and biggier than ever. If you're feeling something snacky, you can get the $4 Biggie Bites. Feeling something medium, get yourself a $6 Biggie Bag with Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. If you want to go full Biggie, you can get the $8 Biggie Bundle with your choice of 2 sandwiches, a small soft drink, and a junior fry. The choice is yours for a pretty biggie deal. It's got to be Wendy's. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Hope y'all are doing well here on a Monday. Opening day coming up on Thursday. Got to keep it locked here. Coming up on Wednesday night, the last edition of Hot Stove Weekly coming up Wednesday night from 5 to 7 p.m. with Tim Allen and our guy, Tommy Wirtz. They are going to be out there at Rally House of the Mayfair Collection. Want to stop out there, see them. They're going to be registering for your chance to win $100 gift cards. And the first 100 people that come in, they're going to have scratch-off cards that you can scratch off and potentially win something, courtesy of Rally House. So, again, come on out, hang out. Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz at Rally House at the Mayfair Collection coming up on Wednesday night from 5 to 7. Get your swag that you want for opening day and all that fun stuff. Looking forward to it. So, again, Tim and Tommy, Wednesday night, 5 to 7, last edition of Hot Stove Weekly. Okay, so Charlie found this piece of audio from Seth Greenberg. And Seth Greenberg, longtime college basketball coach, now has been an analyst for a number of years. I've had a chance to talk to Seth Greenberg numerous times over the course of time. I'm a big Seth Greenberg fan. Very cool dude. This is what Seth Greenberg I had to say about NCAA basketball teams and kind of in his mind, what he thinks it's going to take for teams to compete at a high level. And meaning a high level, meaning Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4, that type of level, what type of money you're going to have to spend. Now, having said this, let me also, before I play this, say this. High Point that beat the Wisconsin Badgers, which, by the way, I got to see if I can find this while I'm talking. Apparently, according to some reports, had an NIL budget of $4 million on that basketball team.
That's more than I was expecting, if I'm going to be completely honest. That's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things compared to some of these other teams, but $4 million for a university that I didn't even know existed before this tournament, before they beat the Wisconsin Badgers, that's a lot of money to be giving to a school like that.
Yeah, it is absolutely crazy. If you want to take a look at this, look up at Cole Adams, 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 and then another S on top of it. And he's got pictures up here of High Point, of like the arena and like the university. Man, there's marble everywhere you can potentially see at this place, High Point. It is insanity.
Yeah, that's fancy, man.
Oh,
that's crazy.
Man, it is at a different level, I tell you. When you start talking about it, they got high-end restaurants on the campus. It's pretty crazy. All right, so having said that, here is Seth Greenberg.
If you're trying to compete at the very highest level, you need 12 million, maybe more, to compete at the very highest level, to build your roster the way you want to build your roster, to build your depth, to build your, to compete with the other teams. Like in the old days, oh man, Westwood, Pauley Pavilion, UCLA, look at this campus, everything that goes along with it. But in the end, a lot of these kids, everyone's got to sell. Everyone's got a new practice facility. Everyone's got a tradition. Everyone's got, and that's what we've seen, like, to me, and this was a big kind of complaint for me. Everyone says, oh, the bubble's weak because you're getting 9-9 and 8 and 10 teams in a tournament. It's because after the top 3 or 4 that are spending 12 to 15 million, everyone else is spending about 7. So that middle of those conferences, or the middle to the bottoms, there's a level playing field for the guys you can get at that level. But if you want to compete at the very highest level, there's the cost of doing business. Why are the mid-majors disappearing? The mid-majors disappearing because they can't afford to. Like the one mid-major that made a low run, or low major from the Big South Conference, High Point, they spent $5-6 million on their roster. Well, they became one of the best mid-majors because of the cost of doing business. They had the opportunity. You got to get the right guys, but you got to have the opportunity. So what Mitch is saying, I mean, what Mick is saying is right, Rich. I mean, like, what do you need to compete, to play on a level playing field with Duke and Carolina? Now, that doesn't guarantee you're getting to the second weekend. I mean, Kentucky spent $22 million. They didn't get to the second weekend. You know, I thought Coach Saban put it best. Like, you got to acquire talent. You got to acquire talent that fits your system, fits your coaching staff, fits your culture, fits your identity. And if you do a bad job identifying talent and don't develop a chemistry and don't develop guys that fit, you know what? You just got a group of players instead of putting together a roster. So I 100% agree with Mick. I don't know what the number is. The whole rev share thing is supposed to be $20.5 million. Come on, man. I mean, football teams are spending that on their offensive line.
Right. And now remember this, that's Seth Greenberg, analyst, former college coach. I was on the Rich Eisen show. Now, Kentucky basketball spent $24 million on their roster, and they're at home watching.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Pope, former Buck, is their head coach. He's at home watching with the rest of his school right now as Iowa State put a whooping on them with Wisconsin's very own as their head coach. But when we talk about what he said there at the end, as far as building chemistry, not having a bunch of individuals, this is where I've always stated this about Calipari. You can be mad at Calipari and not believe in Calipari and all this, but Calipari's been doing this for a decade with playing freshmen right at Kentucky year after year, starting over every year and making it, a tournament team every year. And then those freshmen go to the NBA, and then he does it again the next year and the next year and the next year, which is something Izzo has not wanted to do, something Krzyzewski got out because of having to do. That's all part of this. So these guys have been ahead of this curve for a while. And I'm sure Cal would tell you it's not as easy as you think it is trying to build that chemistry, because not all these personalities and not all these egos are going to mesh. And while you'd like to say, hey, let's take everything in consideration before we go sign this guy, that's not how it goes. This is a horse's race. You got to have the best horses at the end of the day. So you're throwing a big net trying to catch as many of these best players in the country as possible. Then you figure out how to make them all get along and like each other.
But what also made those same coaches successful during that time where they were having the one and dones is that at Duke, you had guys and 2 to 3 guys like Grayson Allen who are sticking around for 4 years and help keep a base culture still at that university and that team. And that makes it easier to kind of grab those guys in the transfer portal or that are freshmen that fit that culture, because you know what you're looking for with the 3 core guys that you have there, whether they're good players or not, which the Badgers kind of do pretty well. John Blackwell coming back to this team was really important. Nolan Winter coming back to this team was very important. Austin Rapp.
By the way, Nolan Winter did not commit to coming back to this team next year. Just figure I'd point this out. At the end of the year, when they talked to him after that game, he did not commit to coming back. Well, he left it open.
That's because you can't commit to really anything nowadays, because you have to go out there. It's a 1-year contract every year for a lot of these guys. You have to go out there because that's just the nature of the sport right now, and the nature of the NIL just universe. I think that there's other things than just being able to constantly replace that talent over and over again. Yes, that's huge, and that's the biggest part, but being able to have a basis to stand on top of really matters too. And a lot of these coaches are still able to do that nowadays, and that's what's important.
From the 414 and the Nicolay Law Talking text line, have they considered creating multiple tiers in D1 basketball, kind of like football did, as far as Power 5 and all this other stuff? This is going back to the first hour in the very first topic, when I talked about reducing the NCAA tournament field to, say, 32 or something, and just letting the best go play in that. And then taking your mid-level conferences, right, the Horizon and some of these other ones, and letting them go play in another tournament where those guys all play. Then, if you wanted, you could make a made-for-TV event where the champions of both tournaments go play each other, one game, one, for the whole shebang or whatever it is, and they play to determine who the national champion is. You can do that. Look, there are more than enough alumni of all of these other schools around the country that aren't a Power 4 conference or whatever to be able to support and watch that tournament as there is to watch this other tournament with the heavyweights over here. I still think there would be plenty of people, and you could say, well, that makes them feel like little brother. Well, that makes them feel like they're not as big as the other ones. Well, my point is this. If I'm Doug Gottlieb, I'm like, hell yes, I'm in. If I'm Bart Lundy, hell yes, I'm in at Milwaukee. Want to know why? Because I get extra games and extra practices with all my guys, which right now, they're at home watching.
Well, and in football, the FCS, the FBS, it gives you your own stage to stand on. The FCS side of things, North Dakota State gets to be reigning national champs for 3 years in a row and have this type of run and give guys like Carson Wentz and Trey Lance opportunities at the NFL level because they get to have this whole stage for an entire season in their own tournament. And yeah, it makes you feel like little brother a little bit. You already know your little brother, if we're being completely honest. If you're going to North Dakota State, when you probably wanted to go to Alabama growing up, that's a big difference. And you realize that already. So just keep working, keep moving at that point, and allow yourself to have as many opportunities as possible to showcase that talent. if you're doing what you're doing right now in college basketball, a lot of these mid-major schools, unless you're going 3 rounds, you don't get that opportunity. And it's damn near impossible to go 3 rounds nowadays if you don't have that money flowing into your university.
Absolutely right. Now, the question that we had is, will the Badgers ever be competitive at a high level at basketball and football at the same time again? Because of the money, if you're spending $12 million there, and God knows what the number you have to spend on football is to be a top 12 team, to be in the playoff, while you want your Badger team to be like it was under Bo and be a Sweet 16 team, an Elite 8 team, and all that. In order to get all that done, is it realistic to think we'll ever see the Badgers at that level again? Can the Badgers make that type of money in order to do that? I mean, you had Chris McIntosh trying to go get a bill passed, so the government would essentially have to fund keeping up all of their campus stuff so he could use that $14 million to put it towards NIL and anything else he needs it to be. Because otherwise, he pretty much said, otherwise, we're canceling Olympic sports for the most part. Hate to do it to y'all, but rowing and all this other stuff may have to cancel all those programs. And there's people, why can't we have baseball? Man, they're talking about eliminating sports, not adding sports.
The only way you get, in my mind, both of these teams at that high of a competitive level again is by sacrificing things like the women's hockey team that just won a national championship. Things like that where you are still successful and you're still able to make history. And you're going to sacrifice that because football, yes, makes more money, sure, but isn't giving you the same results. Like, you have to find ways to balance this. And if that means that one of these 2 major sports teams have to be sacrificed a little bit, not be cut, but not be paid attention to.
Zero chance. Zero chance. Nobody cares about 5 people going to watch rowing or whatever the case may be. Like, baseball is cool. Soccer is cool. Like, all of those are cool, but they're not the money makers as is football, which is the number 1 money maker. And then basketball is the number 2 money maker. Now, I don't know where men's hockey and women's hockey go and women's basketball, how that all stacks up behind the first 2. Like, Todd Milewski is going to join us from Badger Extra, Wisconsin State Journal, talk about the women's national champion hockey team coming up at 4:20. So we're going to get into that. And I already told Todd, I said, hey, man, I don't watch women's hockey. I don't much. But from what I've been reading here the last 24 to 48 hours, this is a pretty special deal for the amount of success that program has had, winning gold in the Olympics and then coming and winning a national championship. There's one girl on the team that's won 4 national championships during her time at Wisconsin as a women's hockey player. Like, this is super special, and that's what we're going to talk about it. But again, I would assume some of the people besides me probably haven't followed women's Badgers hockey all that much necessarily this year. So we're going to use that as an educational point for all of us coming up at 4:20. But as good as they are, and they've been, where do they stack on the grand scheme of things trying to compete? And how are they making their thing go? Because I'm guarantee you they don't got any money.
Well, and I think that you could potentially see a bump in some of these smaller universities, the privately funded universities that find it easier to get donors back to their schools and their grounds, find these bumps in women's sports, in Olympic sports. Smaller universities like D3 universities that can do that. You may see a bump in the D3, D2 realm where these schools can afford to host those sports versus the D1s that want to focus on football and basketball.
That's probably exactly what's going to happen. Hey, the home opener tailgate party at Potawatomi Casino Hotel inside the annex next to the sports book is coming up on Thursday. It's the best tailgate party of the year. Party with the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network from 9 to 1. John Kuhn, Rami Makloff there from 9 to noon, from 9 to 11 o'clock. Then 11 to 1, the leadoff show with Tommy Wirtz and Tim Allen will be there. Pato's the place to be with free parking, free Surfside drinks while supplies last, food for purchase, games and fun, plus shuttles to the game starting at 11 a.m., running every 15 minutes. So you can join John Kuhn, Rami Makloff, Tim Allen, Tommy Wirtz. They'll all be there for the home opener tailgate party coming up on Thursday at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel. And then once the game is over, the Potawatomi Sportsbook Baseball postgame show with Tim Allen, Tommy Wirtz will be right back in the annex doing the postgame show from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. So again, if you're looking for somewhere to go hang out, watch the game, cool. If you're looking for some place to go hang out before the game and then take a shuttle over to the game, that's cool too. Everything right there for you at the annex inside the Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Again, as you're looking at the sports book, it's just to the left. Wide open space, TVs everywhere, have a bar set up and everything on the inside. It'll be a lot of fun. Go hang out with those guys. Up next, Charlie's Sounds of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. See Sparky Pfeiffer, Charlie using that guy right there. Here we go.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, Charlie using, what do you got?
All right, so first up here, we're going to head over to WFAN in New York. I feel like I've been going to them a lot.
Sister station. Yeah.
They've had a lot of just interesting takes recently. This is Greg Giannotti on there saying that NFL players doing flag football is embarrassing. And this is after Joe Burrow, Tom Brady were seen playing this weekend, national televised game.
Horrible.
Really kind of weird situation. And then also the ongoing talks about NFL players potentially wanting to do it in the Olympics, which, again, just bad idea. This is Greg Giannotti talking about that.
If they think that this is a thing that's going to work, they are absolutely mistaken. This, to me, feels like another one of these money grab, sports washing bull crap things. There was nobody in the stands. It's a joke. It was embarrassing for NFL players, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not going to go as far as to say that like their reputations are ruined because they're participating in this thing. I'm not going to go that far, but I mean, to me, this was embarrassing. I mean, you looked up into the crowd, there was about 10 people in the crowd, and then knowing like this whole thing is another one of these Saudi Arabia deals, it just felt icky and stupid, and I will not pay attention to it again. Now, I love the fact that flag football has become a thing in this country, and I love that it's going to be competing in the Olympics. Actually, girls flag football is a big deal. Sabrina's going to start playing this spring. Sayville High School's got a great girls flag football team. I think all of that is great. But taking it now to this level is just, this was stupid.
I tend to agree. The U.S. Flag football team competing against two teams made up of NFL players embarrassed both teams that they saw. And then I listened to 9 to Noon with John Kuhn, brought to you by Yingling. And Brandon Snide, it was on the air talking about Tom Brady at age like 46 could come in and would be better than most of the quarterbacks in the NFL. So then they played the game of who he'd be better than. And Rami just kept saying, no. And Brandon's like, you're nuts. He'd be better than most of the guys in this league right now.
Brandon might have to be on plead the fifth again. Wow.
Go back and pull it. And we'll play it back on Friday and we can have the conversation. Go back and pull it.
There's no way you actually believe that. And if your evidence is anything that happened in this game, that's complete BS. That's bad. Like, this is, again, just felt fake on all levels. Everything about this, kind of like he said, just felt like icky. It just felt boring. It didn't feel like there was any, like, attitude to it. And then his point at the end, I think there is legitimate stock in flag football growing in the United States.
Just not with NFL players trying to do it.
Last year, I talked with Vanita Crouch on this network. She's the captain of the U.S. women's flag football team, and that was really cool. Really cool to talk about how the game is growing on that side of things. And then to see it just get overtaken by stuff like this, that's weird, man. Let the sport be what it is. Let it breathe as is, and let these people that are doing it do it, because that's what they've been doing. Don't go into their territory. It feels weird.
It's not the same sport.
No.
These NFL players figured out. They gave them NFL head coaches. Sean Payton was coaching one of them. They don't know the first damn thing about flag football. If they were going to do it fairly, they should have gave them 2 flag football coaches to coach the NFL guys if they wanted to see it to make it competitive. Run some flag football plays and see what it was all about. But they chose not to do that. Coming up next, Green and Gold update time. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Happy Monday. Time for your fan weather forecast right now, brought to you by Integrity Exteriors. Sunny skies outside right now, 42 degrees with a real feel of 37, low tonight of 26.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. How are we at 4 o'clock already? I feel like it should be 2:15. I don't know what happened to the first 2 hours of this show, but every day I do this, I was like, yeah, maybe we should have 4 hours. Maybe 3 hours isn't enough. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll get to be 4 hours, but it is crazy. Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up comes up from 5 to 6. With our guy Tommy Wirtz, a big old hunk of love, will join us from 5 until 6. He'll get you ready. I'm guessing he'll get you ready for the exhibition game coming up this evening as well. I'm bad at my job. I don't even know what time the exhibition game starts tonight. I have not looked to see when first pitch is for that thing or anything. My guess is, based on locker room availability, is probably like 6-ish.
6:40.
Let's see, close. So 6:40. If you're not doing anything, go to American Family Field. I will also give you a heads up that there is a lot of construction around that area of American Family Field as they're screwing around, redoing roads and bridges and all this other stuff right now. This started in November of 25, and it's going to go all year, it sounds like. And I read that the Brewers hired like 3 extra sheriffs or whatever else and a tow truck to try and expedite any type of issues that may be occurring in these traffic jams they're going to mount. So it's not going to be TSA long, but I would advise leaving early if you plan on going to, say, opening day or any Brewers game this year. There's going to be a lot of bottleneck traffic in that area of American Family Field, right? So if you're coming in from Wausau or Green Bay or wherever, and you're not Ubering it from a hotel or something, I would definitely advise planning on getting here even earlier than you normally would. Maybe you'll get lucky and it won't be so bad on a given day, but I would imagine opening day is going to be ugly.
This is why I'm a shuttle type of guy. Give the stress to
the
people
go to
that are meant to be
Potawatomi on Thursday, take their shuttles, hang out at the Annex
Those
with
guys
John
are pros.
Kuhn.
They got it.
Yeah, John Kuhn, Rami, from 9 to 11, 11 to 1, Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz. They'll be there doing post-game show as well at the Annex right here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. That's absolutely right. Park in the garage. Go have a couple of beverages, maybe a little food from the Potawatomi Sportsbook. That's delicious. And then hop on their shuttle and take it over to the game, and then take the shuttle back and hang out, listen to the post-game show for a little bit, grab some dinner, and then head home.
I had Austin at the Sportsbook because he's probably there.
Austin Herdina at the Sportsbook. I reached out to Austin Herdina earlier today. I did.
Yeah.
So I got an email from this company called Bet Online or whatever. They always send me these PR emails or whatever. And the Brewers win-loss total dropped from 86.5 to 84.5 in the last 3 months.
Why?
Dropped 2
whole games.
So then I went on and I looked at the Potawatomi odds at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. They're sitting at 85.5 right now. So then I texted Austin. I was like, hey, man, what did this open at? I'm like, I see it's 85.5. And he's like, I think it opened at 86.5. So it dropped a full game there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook as well. Y'all do what you want. But if this team is kind of healthy, There's no way they're under 85.5. Like, I don't, unless, I mean, if they get decimated by injuries, okay, that's different, right? If multiple big hitters go down with injuries and they can't replace them right away, fine. Then maybe we don't get there. But if they're not besieged by injuries, I just don't see how they're not over 85.5.
Well, and maybe, I don't feel like it's people talking down on the Brewers or anything, or there's any bad vibes. It's more so it feels like people are getting higher on the Cubs. People are getting higher on the Pirates for some reason recently.
Love is ridiculous.
Like,
right
it's
now.
just nuts. So I think that's what's playing it. It's nothing that the Brewers are doing. The Brewers are just going to go out there and be the Brewers, and they're going to win the division, and they're going to be at 90 plus games. It's what they do.
That's
It'll
right.
be fine.
That's exactly what they do. They're going to go out there and win the division. If they win the division again, for all the angst towards Matt LaFleur for losing 3 straight years of not winning the division, how is it going to be for the traitor in Chicago if he doesn't win a division for his 3rd straight year as manager?
It's going to not look great. But also on the other side of things, if the Brewers win the division again and then go and flop in the playoffs again, what's the discussion going to be around there?
Well, again, I think that's all part of it. But if they flop in the, well, obviously they flop in the playoffs. They won a series last year in the playoffs.
That's true.
This isn't the Badgers getting beat.
People want them to take
Point.
the next steps. You're seeing what you can do, and if it doesn't meet that criteria from last season, if it doesn't go past that from what you did last season, then that could be viewed as a failure.
Yeah, I guess. All right, coming up this hour, Todd Milewski, Badger Extra, Wisconsin State Journal. He'll join us coming up in the next segment as we talk about both the women's and men's hockey team. The women's hockey team already has their national championship and have been doing something incredible with Mark Johnson as coach, and his numbers are stupid since he's been the head coach at Wisconsin as well. So we'll talk with Todd Milewski about that. They deserve their love. Like, the stuff they're doing, I don't care if you're a women's Badger fan or not, listen to the segment. It will blow your ever-loving mind when you hear the dominance that they've had in that program for the last several years. It is absolutely stupid. It's just stupid. Things Smart You Missed, brought to you by the Milwaukee Admirals. A bunch of March Madness nuggets. And Matt Painter irritated a lot of people by telling the truth, the Purdue head coach, over the weekend. We'll play that back for you as well coming up at 4:40. But first, we have to do what we always do at 4.
It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
Okay, so check this out. There's an article on Front Office Sports concerning the NFL draft. Okay, you ready for this? Is there too much of a thing as too much NFL draft in your mind?
Think so. No, I always like hearing NFL draft stuff because you're always learning about these players all the way up until the draft day.
But on draft day, can there be too much draft stuff?
No, because these teams hide all their things.
Okay. Stand by.
Hide their stuff. You know?
Stand by.
Okay.
On ESPN this year, Mike Greenberg is poised to lead the network's coverage for the 6th straight year. ESPN will provide in-depth coverage of all 7 rounds from Thursday to Saturday. Expect to see Mel Kiper Jr., Adam Schefter, Molly McGrath, Booger McFarland, Lewis Riddick, all that fun stuff. On NFL Network, remember, they're all together now. NFL Network, Rich Eisen will host their draft coverage, joined by Daniel Jeremiah, Charles Davis, Joel Klatt, Ian Rappaport, so forth. Okay, fine. On ABC, Reese Davis is again expected to host the Disney Broadcast Network's more college game day-centric version of the draft, alongside Kirk Herbstreit, Nick Saban, Desmond Howard, and Laurel Rutledge. Pat McAfee and company are also expected to be back with the Pat McAfee Show Draft Spectacular.
Why are they different from the Disney ESPN Game Day one?
4 different draft shows that ESPN and Disney are putting on.
Yeah.
4.
Again, I like the first 2, the NFL Network versus ESPN, all right, I guess. Like, ESPN's a little bit more of a palatable one. NFL Network, maybe you want to go more in depth. But then when you split up College Game Day into 2 different ones for no reason whatsoever, I feel like that makes no sense at all. And like, for you to be talking about the streaming service aspect of all this stuff and then not to have like that College Game Day one just be on Disney Plus instead of just putting it on ABC and wasting time on that station, that just seems ill-advised when you're already airing 2 other versions of it on 2 other networks. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Ill-advised is the right way to put it. Ill-advised indeed.
Like, what's the point of that?
This is my other thing. Now, again, I'm looking at this from a radio business side of things, right? So Do you sell the commercial package to Coke or Pepsi and go, okay, you get spots in all of them? Or do you sell them individually? And if you're selling them individually, aren't you really kind of being stupid here? Because from a ratings perspective, you're competing against each other for viewers.
Right. Well, and
if there was one, wouldn't you be able to charge way more money if you said we're only doing one on ABC and it's going to be the one that we normally do on ESPN? We're going to throw Ian Rappaport in. We're going to throw Rich Eisen in, right? Pick a couple of people. McAfee can be sitting off on a couch somewhere with his 2 cents, try to be funny. And that's going to be the broadcast. And then charge a boat ton of money per commercial versus doing it this way. I don't know. I've never been in TV from the aspect of selling it or knowing how that all works in the inner circles, but this just seems over the top crazy to me.
Well, and I think that part is, like you said, is they're competing with themselves.
Yes.
I don't feel like that's on accident. Like, I think they're doing this to create an illusion that there is competition, almost, that they're out here controlling this entire market for what is the NFL draft presentation. But in order to make it not seem like they're the only ones doing that and not put a bigger target on them because it feels like they are monopolizing this type of event, they go out there and create competition themselves for an illusion to make people say, hey, oh, it's on 3 different networks. You got 3 different people talking about this. When in reality, they're all the same network talking about the same stuff. It's kind of crazy.
It is very crazy. I don't think there's any doubt about that in my mind that it's absolutely crazy. So that one I don't really understand. The other topic we were going to do, and now I cannot get this to work on X, and it keeps saying this page is down, but there is a Twitter account that I have followed for a number of years called Nerding on NFL. X account, Nerding on NFL. And what they do is they do a great job of breaking NFL schedule leaks and all of that stuff. Like, they're all over it. And if you just follow them, you will see everything kind of going together as it happens. Well, the person that runs this account put out earlier today a 2026 mock schedule as far as how they are predicting this thing to potentially line up. I should have printed it off my computer when we had it up earlier. And Charlie and I were looking at this earlier like, oh man, this would be good. We could talk about this for our green and gold segment and kind of go over what they had. I'll tell you what I can remember. What I can remember is this. They have the Packers. Now, again, this is mock. This is not fact. This is mock. They have the Packers opening up in Detroit in week 1 with a 325 kick in that one.
Correct.
They have the Bears games against the Packers being in week 12 and week 17. And then they have the Packers ending the season at home against the Lions. So they would end the season, I believe it would be in Chicago and then back in Green Bay against the Lions for the last 2 games of the season. No international games for the Packers. They don't have the Packers on Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving Eve as of right now. Thanksgiving Eve has not been officially said that it's going to happen. And as of right now in their mock, they have the Packers as the first game on Christmas Day. There's going to be a game on Christmas Eve, potentially 2 on Christmas Eve. That's not been confirmed yet. And then 3, it looks like, on Christmas Day. Now, Christmas Day this year is a Friday. So this would be a Friday day game. The other thing that I remember from looking at this mock schedule that he put out, or she put out, I don't know if it's a guy or girl, put out, was the Bears would open the season on Wednesday night, potentially, in Seattle against the Seahawks. We talked about this last week, Charlie and I, about the idea of Wednesday Night Football. Charlie hates it. And I was like, well, from a sports talk programming perspective, I'm all about it because they play Wednesday. We talk about it hot and heavy, Monday, Tuesday, day of game, post-game Wednesday night, and then you're all over it for Thursday and Friday. You break for the week and you come back Monday. You recap what happened in the rest of the league, and then you get to looking ahead to your week 2 matchup. So week 2, they had the Packers in New England. So they all open in Detroit in New England. And the other thing I remember from looking at this, there is a 3-week span where the Packers were on the road 3 straight weeks on this schedule. 3 straight weeks. I hate that with a passion. So hopefully that is wrong. But the initial mock, look at the Bears schedule. It looks pretty easy. I'm just being honest. We went through the Bears schedule, me and Charlie. I was like, this is pretty easy. Like, they don't really have any stretch where it's like, oh boy, that's like a 5-game stretch of really tough teams. Like there's crappy teams scattered all over their schedule here. And then Charlie heard the Packers schedule. Charlie's like, Sparky, I don't think yours is any much better than ours are.
Not much better. So that 3-week stretch you're talking about is at the Vikings.
So you got it up on your side?
I got it over here. So the Green Bay Packers schedule, as they have it on here in full, at the Lions week 1, at Patriots week 2, like you said, at home versus the Vikings, at home versus the Dolphins in week 4, away at the Rams in week 5, home against the Texans, home against the Panthers 6 and 7, at the Vikings, Bucks, Jets weeks 8 through 10. You got
Vikings. Hold on, slow. Go back. That 3-week road schedule. Now again, this is a mock schedule up at Nerding on NFL. If you follow them on X, you know they've been pretty spot on leading up to the schedule release as far as getting games right of who's going where. It's the best account to follow once we get to releasing the schedule, normally in the beginning to middle part of May. They put out a mock schedule today of kind of what they're projecting this thing could look like. So what were the 3 road games in a row?
Vikings, Buccaneers, and Jets. That's not a brutal
quick
stretch,
flight back. That's not horrible. Then you go south and play in heat. What month would that be? Like November?
Yeah.
So November. And then you come back and then you go to the Jets, which regardless of what that weather is like, it should be a win.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
that's not brutal.
Opponents-wise, it doesn't feel horrible.
Right. You feel pretty comfortable against all 3 of those teams.
Traveling 3 straight weeks.
Unless the Vikings look different with Kyler Murray by week 8. If the Buccaneers look a little rejuvenated with some health in that roster, despite not having Mike Evans, you could figure that out.
They
that
take
could be
a
something.
step back, don't they?
Yeah, probably. Again, without Mike
back.
Evans, that's a culture guy too. Like that changes the way the team thinks about the game.
Right.
And I think that's something that is notable beyond just his presence on the field. And then the Jets, I talked about this in the pre-show meeting with the Saints. You know, the Saints have only one way to go, which is up, and they look better at the end of the season. So, you know, that's not that awful of a game. Maybe you could say the same about the Jets.
Only one way to go.
The Jets only got one way to go, baby.
Yeah, I guess so. Coming up next, we'll talk with Todd Milewski, Badger Extra Wisconsin State Journal. He's been covering this women's champion team, Badger female hockey team. And we're going to get his thoughts on everything that's been going on. And he's going to educate most of us who don't follow this, right? A lot of us don't follow Badger women's hockey. A lot of us probably don't follow the Badger men's hockey team either. So we're going to get an education from Todd Milewski. Coming up next, it's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
Face-off won by Ohio State. They'll fire it down. Jungle's back. It's a great day for hockey. It's a great day for your 9th national championship. Wisconsin only won 2 one-goal games all year. Both came at the Frozen Four.
They were tested here in State College, Pennsylvania, both Friday night and here, and they passed with flying colors.
How do you write a better script? I mean, going in September, I mean, and getting an opportunity to win a gold medal in front of the world and then come back, not too long after that and help your team go on and win a national championship. I mean, I'm not sure it gets much better than that. The only guy I can think of that got better than that was Kenny Morrow after 1980 in our group. He went on to win 4 Stanley Cups, which that'll never be done again, I'm sure.
Unbelievable stuff there. The women's team wins a national championship. That was Mark Johnson. Do you know how many national championships Mark Johnson has now? That's 9. 702 wins, 11 WCHA regular season titles, 11 WCHA tournament championships, 17 trips to the Frozen Four, 9 national championships.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty solid.
I'd say that's
I'd take that.
Yeah, I agree. Joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. He is Todd Milewski, Badger Extra in the Wisconsin State Journal. Follow him on X at Todd Milewski. Todd, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. I do have to add, though, don't forget about the one he won as a player at Wisconsin, too.
Yes.
So that's 10 in total.
That's 10 in total, right. If you take out his coaching one, that is 10 in total. That is just absolutely crazy. Women's hockey NCAA championships. Wisconsin has 9, Minnesota 6, Minnesota Duluth 5, Clarkson 3, Ohio State 2. Talk about just how special the feat this has been. I mean, there's a player on this team that has 4 national championships.
Yeah, it really kind of, you struggle to come up with the words and the comparisons for it. I mean, it's hard to compare to different sports. It's such a different landscape. There's so many more teams in basketball than there are in women's hockey. There's 45 that play at the top level in college women's hockey. So it's a little easier to be a dynasty, but you still have to go out and do it against teams like Ohio State that are getting close themselves, and teams like Minnesota that have been there, teams like Clarkson from out east that have had really great years and gone to win national championships. And so when you do that consistently, that really is kind of the proof that, everything you're doing is kind of moving the right direction. You've got that real stable base that you could just kind of reload on.
I mean, it is crazy here. I mean, this senior class had 137 wins during their 4 years at Madison.
Yeah, most ever in a 4-year stretch. Yeah.
I mean, that is at a whole different level. And we were talking about this earlier about Seth Greenberg, former college basketball coach, analyst, now said, hey, in college basketball, in order to win at a high level and compete at a high level, that the NIL money is going to have to be like $12 million a year in order to make that work. And we were talking about, man, how are you going to compete at a high level for football and basketball if you're Wisconsin, considering everything? And then you look at women's college hockey and even men's college hockey. How is the NIL affecting those two programs?
Well, it really hasn't gotten to the point yet where there's a lot of money being splashed around. There's some, but it's not big money other than a couple guys here and there. And it really, the NIL that you're seeing in hockey is a little bit more of what it was intended to be, in that, you're a spokesperson for this company. You're appearing in commercials. You're on their social media, those kind of things, that they're getting a little bit of money for that. I take like Caroline Harvey from the women's program here. She's been representing, a bunch of different places. Layla Edwards has done the same. Those are the places where they're making their NIL money. And it's really, just from their names being big in the women's hockey game, and really kind of that translating into overall, through the Olympics and the national team, into hockey in general in this country, which is still a niche sport, but it's a growing niche. And it's one that every 4 years with the Olympics kind of breaks out of that a little bit. So they've had great timing and doing a lot of these things over the last year.
Then you take into account that you also had, 4 of these players that ended up going and winning a gold for Team USA on top of doing what they're doing at Wisconsin?
Yeah, really one of the things that makes this season unique out of the 9 championships that they've won is that you had this group that there were 4 on the U.S. team and then another player that played for Czechia that were gone for the last 4 weeks of the regular season for the Olympics. And so you had, some of your best players away, and this team, the group that was left, they started calling themselves the B Squad, and they held down the fort. Lacey Eden, who was really hoping she would make that Olympic team on the U.S. side, didn't get that call, but she turned that into a motivator for here and just had a remarkable month in that time of when the Olympics players were gone. I think it was 17 points in 8 games, just kind of a remarkable stretch. And she continued that on when the players from the Olympics got back too. But yeah, that stretch in the Olympics, it's I'm not sure there's ever going to be anything like that again when you're talking about that many players from one college team going off and winning gold medals and then coming back and winning a national championship, 6 weeks later or whatever it ended up being.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Talking with our guy, Todd Milewski, Badger Extra, Wisconsin State Journal. Follow him on X at Todd Milewski. Let's talk about Mark Johnson here quick. How much longer does he stay in that role, and is there a succession plan in place?
Well, I have a couple of kind of thoughts on that, in that he hasn't really addressed it publicly, but when you kind of read through some of the, kind of between the lines of some of the things he says about, players these days and those kind of things, it does kind of feel like that, it's the changes in college athletics might be wearing on him a little bit. I mean, he's 68 years old. He still has a lot of jump in him. He looks really good on the ice when he's out there for practice. He's engaged in everything. He does all sorts of recruiting. He's flying all over the country, and including later this week, he'll be out right back on the recruiting path. But the Badgers have some really, really talented players coming in the next 2 seasons that I know he wants to coach. So I can see him being around for a few more years at least, because the cupboard, they're losing a lot of really good players after this year, but the cupboard is very far from bare.
So is he he's got to be even bigger. I mean, for so long, Krzyzewski in college basketball, Coach K wants you. All right, sounds good. Where do I sign up? I'll be there. I mean, is that kind of where Mark Johnson is if he wants you, he'll get you?
You're definitely in that conversation. Absolutely. Just by being there as the Wisconsin coach, as being Mark Johnson. I think there's, over the last few years, there's been some polls to the Ohio States of the world. Minnesota still gets a lot of really good players, and really for the growth of the game, you do need some of those players to go to other programs like Penn State. Penn State got a player from Illinois, Tessa Janicki, 4 years ago, who, when she got to that program, it was not great, but over the last 4 years, they've grown, and they were a Frozen Four team, lost to Wisconsin in overtime on Friday. That was their first appearance in the Frozen Four, and it's getting those big time players. She was an Olympic player this year too. Those kind of players, getting them at different programs around the country is going to make it a lot tougher for the teams like Wisconsin through the years to be able to, keep winning back-to-back championships, let's say.
Well, the women are doing that. The men got in by the hair of their chinny chin to the tournament, and now they play coming up on Thursday, correct?
They play on Thursday, yes, against Dartmouth, which won the ECAC hockey tournament championship on Saturday. Kind of ironically, that's the result. Dartmouth winning that got the Badgers into the tournament. They were kind of on pins and needles waiting to see if that was going to turn out to be the case. And that's how it shook out.
And Hayden Stavroff is on that team, who leads the country with 29 goals for Dartmouth. So not an easy game for Wisconsin.
No, I mean, that's a very high powered top line that Dartmouth has. Wisconsin will have to come up with something to keep them in check, but also Wisconsin really needs to come off a long break here strong, because That they last played March 11th. It was a 7-1 loss here at home to Ohio State in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. And they've been practicing since then, not being at real high level competition preparations for the NCAA tournament. So this happened a couple of years ago, and they didn't look good in the first period of their first game of the tournament. And they need to be better than that this time.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on, Todd. Really appreciate it. Like I said, I don't know how many people really follow women's college hockey for the Badgers, and I just felt like they deserve their due, man, because they are doing something really, really special in the state. And considering where the football program is and the basketball program getting eliminated in the first weekend, they definitely deserve some love on this one.
Yeah, I appreciate you giving it the time. Absolutely.
You betcha. Take care. There he is, Todd Milewski, Badger Extra and the Wisconsin State Journal. Follow him on X at Todd Milewski as he joins us here on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Coming up next, things that we missed on today's show, brought to you by the Milwaukee Admirals, some March Madness nuggets, including Mad Painter of Purdue, making a lot of people mad by telling the truth. We'll explain next on Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky, Pfeiffer with you. Charlie Usen producing today's show. Still to come, Tommy Wirtz, 5 to 6 with Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up. Make sure to catch Tommy and Tim Allen, Hot Stove Weekly, the last edition of that coming up Wednesday night from 5 to 7. Rally House at the Mayfair Collection. Go hang out with them. First 100 people will receive a Rally House scratch-off. Maybe win something with that. And then you also have a chance to register to have a chance to win a $100 gift card for Rally House. Again, that's between 5 and 7 coming up Wednesday night. Hot Stove Weekly broadcasting live from Rally House, Mayfair Collection. And again, Tim Allen, Tommy Wirtz, if you want their autographs, pictures taken with the boys, whatever the case may be, get your swag all lined up to wear to opening day on Thursday. Lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff to pick from there at Rally House. Make sure to do that too. With that being said, let's get to this.
What story did Sparky miss talking about today on Wisconsin Sports Daily? Don't you worry. Sparky's got you covered now. Don't miss Milwaukee Admirals hockey this season. Don't just buy tickets. Invest in memories at MilwaukeeAdmirals.com.
Cuff using a little bit of time. It's over to Coach Calipari. Now going to work with a 3-ball that goes. 34 points.
I'm just telling you right now, my guy, Darius Acuff at Arkansas, as I continue to praise Darius Acuff. This dude here, highlight courtesy of TBS. Darius Acuff Jr. in the tournament play this year is averaging 30 points, 7 assists, shooting 45.5% from the field, 48.5% from 3, 87 at the line. His 3 games of 30-plus points in tournament play is the most ever by a freshman.
I mean, he may be hopping up the draft board. We've already seen those top 4 be shuffled around a little bit. Dybance's been at the top. You've seen Peterson at the top. Boozer had his moment a little bit at the beginning of the season at the top. If Acuff keeps playing like this, what says he can't be at the top of that group?
And again, 2 games, not 3, 2 games. Per CBS Sports Research, the most points by a freshman in his first 2 NCAA tournament games all time. Darius Acuff Jr., 60 points, number 1. Number 2, Cam Thomas at 57, tied with Zion Williamson at 57, and Kevin Durant at 57.
That's pretty good company to be a part of. Zion and KD are both college basketball legends in their own right to be up
top of the draft, too. I mean, that's nothing to laugh about. Acuff Jr. is the only player to have 60 points, 10 assists, and 5 or fewer turnovers over any 2-game span in the NCAA tournament since official assists became official in the 83-84 season.
Well, and the assist part is probably the most enticing to NBA teams right now. You don't really have a lot of players who are true pass-first guys. So if you're able to be that combo-style guard, that is what a lot of these teams are looking for to fit in with the way everybody else plays in today's game. Every other position's pretty fluid. As a point guard, you want to be as fluid as possible.
Yes, absolutely right. No question about that. Another one here, another nugget that I got here. About the whole old coaches can't survive in the new era of college basketball. Sweet 16 right now. Patino is 73. Izzo is 71. Rick Barnes at Tennessee, 71. Kelvin Sampson at Houston is 70. Calipari is 67. Looks like they figured it out.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of these guys have been able to transition to that game, which, again, makes it more weird to me that, like, Nick Saban was so willing to get out of the game, stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of these coaches, you are getting older and that times are changing, but you know what this is. You've probably been doing this same thing, just undercover. Now it's in the light, and that shouldn't be that different.
Got another one for you. I don't think he's as old. I'm not sure how old he is, but Bill Self has been around a minute.
Yep.
Okay. Y'all get mad at Greg Gard, right? Mad at Greg Gard. In 2023, Kansas was the 1 seed and got beat in the round of 32. In 2024, they were a 4 seed, got beat in the round of 32. In 2025, they were a 7 seed. They got beat in the round of 64. This year, they were a 4 seed again and got beat in the round of 32. That is Bill Self at Kansas with their NIL payroll and everything they have. And Peterson this year, who is going to be a top 3 pick in this draft, and gone in the opening weekend.
with that type of just kind of failure in the tournament at the end of the season, we talk about whether or not the Cinderella teams are dead. You see teams like Kentucky get bounced out early too lately. Duke hasn't been as surefire of a pick. Is there like the death of the blue blood right now too? Is that even a thing anymore?
Don't say that. I got Duke winning it. Don't say that.
I know, but at the same time, it just doesn't feel like those schools hold the same kind of power. It feels like if you are just in a power conference and you can have that type of money, anybody can be in that conversation. It was on First Take. They were talking about Kentucky potentially not being a blue blood anymore. And a lot of people were like, well, they've won more recently than Kansas has, than Duke has in any of these situations. But at the same time, that doesn't hold any kind of power to get these teams consistently back in the Elite Eight all the time.
No question. Patino and the Red Storm have advanced the round 16, first time since 1999. They get to play Duke. How about this little nugget that I dug up for you? Duke has never, ever won a national championship without beating St. John's.
Let's see what happens. Because, I mean, obviously, if they lose this game, they're out of the tournament. Right. They want to win a championship.
1990-91, they won 78-61. The 91-92 season, they won 91-81. 2000-2001 season, 91-59. 2009-10 season, 80-71. 14-15 season, 77-68. And now they get them here in the Sweet 16. Duke's a favorite by about 6.5 in this one.
So if Duke wins this game, Sparky, are you just locking it up? You're going to be happy? You think Duke wins it?
Oh, I'm going to be juiced. Yeah. Going to be juiced. And again, and
then you're going to get excited and they're going to lose in the next round because you're Sparky.
I'll be like, national champions. And then they're going to get upset and it's going to be over, right? That's exactly what's going to happen because that's just how things go. That's how things go. How about this? Ben McCullum at Iowa pulls the stunner on Florida. Now, I heard John Kuhn talking about this earlier on 9 to noon. How you allow Iowa to go full length of the court in like 3 to 4 seconds and get a shot. And it was a deep three the kid hit, no doubt, but still, either way. Ben McCullum. How about this dude? 2017 Division II champion, 35-1. 2018 Division II first round, they got eliminated, 27-4. 2019 Division II champion, they were undefeated, 38-0. COVID year, 30-1. There was no postseason. 21, 28-2 Division II champion. 2022, 35-2 Division II champion. Now, mind you, while this is all going on, any big school could have came and got him at this point, right? 2023, 31-3, round of 32 in the Division II. 2024, 29-5, Division II, round of 16. Now Iowa comes. 2025, 31-3, they get booted in the round of 32. And now 2026, actually, this is his first year. This is his first year at Iowa, right? Not last year, this year. Now this year at Iowa, 23-12, and now he's in the Sweet 16 and on the move. Might be a good coach.
Might be. I mean, that's crazy that he went that long with that much domination at that point without getting scooped up by anybody else before Iowa comes and gets him. I'm really kind of frustrated with Iowa because I went back and forth on my bracket between because I thought, kind of a surprise Big Ten team would make a run. I was thinking Ohio State because Ohio State had those couple of games at the end of the season.
He was at Drake in 24.
Okay. So Ohio State, but then it was Iowa, and Iowa was the other team that I was trying to decide. I was like, I think they could make a run too. And I was like, nope, I'm going to go with Ohio State in my gut. And of course, it's Iowa.
Nobody picked Florida. Swear to God,
everybody was down on Florida. It doesn't matter who it was.
Nobody had Florida coming out of that region. Nobody. I was like, oh my gosh, like what is going on here? That's crazy. He's won 4 Division II national championships. Has Ben McCullum. That's pretty cool. Creighton coach Craig McDermott, he's done. He's retiring. Alan Huss is going to take over for him. What a run by Greg McDermott.
Really? I mean, Fred Hoiberg was talking about, head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yeah.
Just how much of an influence he had on his career up to this point.
365 wins in 16 years at Creighton.
I mean, I think a lot of people forget about that type of dominance when you're at a school like Creighton. You're not winning a national championship, but they were always just there. They are a basketball school because of what he was able to build there.
Yeah, no question. Now we're going to get to the juicy stuff. So after High Point beat Wisconsin, Flynn Clayman, this is before they lost to Arkansas, Flynn Clayman, after that, got on everybody for not scheduling the mid-majors as far as, these Power 4 conferences go.
If you just look at all the preseason top mid-majors, they will not play you. They just will not do it. Like we had a high major school pay over a six-figure amount to buy out of a tournament during the season a year ago because we were the 8th team to join the tournament and they just didn't want to have any opportunity to play us. That's how important it is for them to not play us. I don't blame them. We just need to have a better system.
That was on You Bet on Westwood One. So that's Flynn Clayman. Okay. So that's his deal. So now what do you think happens? Now the NCAA tournament obviously is going on. So all of these coaches now are going to have to start answering the question being brought up as far as like, why are you dodging these guys? Like, what is your deal? Well, Matt Painter had about enough of this, so he just dropped some facts.
You got to keep things in perspective because if he was in my position, like you're going to play 11 non-conference games next year, it's going to go to 12. And so we play 6 high major games and we play 5 mid-major teams. So when they say they don't play mid-majors, like we played 5 mid-majors this year. But if he was in our position, he'd do the same thing we're doing. Like I didn't set the net rankings. The net rankings set themselves, but I'm going to go buy it. Like I'm going to figure it out. The coaches that don't look at the net rankings and get things figured out how to schedule are bozos. They're absolute bozos. You are going to do what is best for your institution so you can get in the tournament and help your seed. So we're the only program in the country that's been a top 4 seed, 9 years in a row. And so we played Akron, right? We played Kent State. We played Oakland. So like we've played mid-majors, but everybody plays mid-majors. Every high major plays mid-majors. They just saying they're not playing them. And it's really a backhanded compliment if they're not playing it. But we've proved ourselves.
This is my thing. That's Matt Painter of Purdue. Going back at Clayman, the head coach at High Point. When does High Point try to go to the ACC? When does High Point say, again, reportedly the number is $4 million. And I remember Doug Gottlieb last week, prior to the Badgers playing High Point, Doug Gottlieb, not exact quote, somewhere along the lines of, they got a crap ton of money down there to put at the NIL, was something along the lines of what Gottlieb said. He never put a number on it. But then since that game happened and they upset Wisconsin, then the number $4 million has come out as far as payroll for that. But if you've got that type of money, now, you heard earlier Seth Greenberg say, hey, man, it's going to take like $12 million per roster in order to go compete at a higher level. So I don't know if High Point can get to $12 million one way or the other, but that may be the only option they have. They're going to have to try and figure out how can they get to a bigger and better conference if that is the goal at the end of the day. Like if the goal at High Point is we want to win a national championship, you're going to have to move conferences and go play with the big boys. They don't have a football program, so maybe they try to get into the Big East where Marquette is and try and go play there.
I think that's their better bet. I think the ACC is right now too proud to let anybody like High Point University into their group.
Probably.
Especially as a basketball conference.
Yeah.
They were gloating about how good they were this year with Duke and Miami and Louisville and all these teams that were able to still be top dogs. And they're trying to hold on to that in their football side of things. They've acquiesced a little bit there, but it's got to be a conference that's willing to make those changes and willing to let the school in. And nowadays you could go anywhere you want. You could go over to the Mountain West if you wanted to, even if you're on the East Coast. It doesn't matter. So go find that opportunity.
It is something to think of. Like, if that number is right, $4 million, is that the same or less than what DePaul is spending? And DePaul got turned around this year, by the way, right? They turned DePaul around this year, but that is something to consider. Like, what is Marquette paying? Marquette hasn't played in the transfer portal at all to this point, but they're spending money on the players they have NIL-wise in order to keep those guys happy. You've already heard them talking about a lot of those guys already said they're coming back and they're not going anywhere. So they must be getting something. They're not getting nothing and staying at Marquette and with just a scholarship. They're all getting something. So what is that number compared to what High Point is? Could High Point compete with some of these programs in the Big East?
I think so. And I think part of it is that they are these private universities that have a little bit more focus right on basketball, right on these court sports instead. And it's a lot easier for them to funnel that NIL sources towards that, especially when you have more private investors and things where you don't have to go through the state as much as a school like Wisconsin. So, I think they can compete in that realm.
He is Charlie Usen, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. Don't forget, be at the Annex over there at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel right next to the Sportsbook coming up on Thursday. John Kuhn, Rami Makaloff doing 9 to noon from 9 to 11. 11 to 1, it will be Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz doing the leadoff show. And then 4 to 6, Tim Allen and Tommy Wirtz still at the Annex at the Potawatomi doing the post-game show brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Again, that's all coming up on Thursday. Go hang out at the Annex. Free shuttles to and from the game as well. You got to make a purchase there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, but then you can get on the shuttle and go. Enjoy the rest of your day. Tommy Wirtz up next with the Wisconsin Sports Wrap-Up.